got to actually get in the top 10. The room to be in the conversation.
Yo, what is poppin', y'all? It is your boy, it's Gardy3. Of course, I'm Gardy3, and I know if you guys are watching, all you returning viewers, you're looking at it a little weird. You're saying, man, Mo looks really different. Well, I promise you, this is not Mo. This is our boy joining us this week for our watch-along, the NFL and NBA genius, Mr. Gene Walzak himself. Gene, how you doing?
I probably should have updated that name before we got on here. But I'm fired up, baby. I love this series. This series has been everything I've wanted it to be outside of a closer wins to losses. But every game has been incredible basketball to watch. And I'm fired up to watch along with you guys. So thank you for having me on tonight, my man.
Yeah, anytime. Like I said, we love having you. Like I said, we're just waiting for Mo. He'll join us as soon as we can.
Talking about Mo better, Mo money, Mo problems.
Oh yeah. Say we
dog's ready.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know what they're going so crazy about. So sorry about that. But before the game kicks off, I just wanted to say a nice thing or two. Unfortunately, this week the NBA lost a legend in Big Red, Bill Walton. So I just wanted to send my condolences to his family and friends. If y'all don't know Big Bill Walton, he one of the great college players that you'll ever see. He had a fantastic college career. He came up, led the Trailblazers to a title, had a phenomenal 2-year peak where he won MVP, Finals MVP, all defensive team. And when the injuries caught up, he turned into a six-man and was a six-man of the year. This is a guy that was a larger-than-life presence on and off the court. So the NBA and just the world in general will miss the big man. So, rest in peace, Bill Walton.
Throw it down, big man. Throw it down.
All righty. So, of course, Gene, who do you got tonight?
I'm Minnesota. I think that it's going down. I'm rocking Timber. And I think Ann Edwards and the group figures out a way to get it back to Dallas for game 6. I think that Minnesota wins tonight. I think Minnesota's been the better team for the majority of the games in the series. It's just the last 3 minutes in games 1 through 3, Dallas has came up with the clutch plays. I think tonight you'll see continue to see a better Karl Anthony Towns. I think Ann Edwards will be aggressive, and I think Mike Conley is a name to look out for tonight.
No, absolutely. It always feels like the Timberwolves, as it looks like the game's about to kick off. The name to look out for always seems to be Karl Anthony Towns, because when he plays well, they're almost unstoppable. But man, when it's bad from Karl Anthony Towns, it's really bad.
Am I the only one that really feels like the Timberwolves are making a mistake by keeping Gobert on the floor? I think they would look way better with Naz Reid playing along Karl Anthony Towns to stretch 5. But looks like Minnesota won the tip, and Conley's got the ball to start the game.
There we go. All right. Good start. Good start. I think that would help the offense, but sometimes with that pairing, defense can be a mess because neither of them are really rim protectors.
I mean, I get it, but how much rim protecting has Rudy done this series?
Hey, Rudy,
as I say that, he gets up. Oh, it's goaltend. That's literally on cue. I thought he was going to get a block.
It was close. He almost got there.
I think that was a block. I don't think that was a goaltend at all.
It looked like he got it on the way up, but Luka's going to get that call every time.
Yeah. It's a shame. Oh, man. I love this series. Just the chess match. 2 very good coaches. Rudy with the 2. 4-2.
I've never seen Rudy bust out a Euro once, but that's like the 4th time I've seen it do it in like the last 3 games.
Oh, wow. Luka's starting early.
Ooh. That could be a bad omen for the Wolves if he's hitting that.
Yeah. It's 5 quick points for Luka. Kyrie stuffed at the rim, passed it off. That's 2 more. 7-4 Dallas.
There you go. Good swing. Oh, corner. McDaniels. Oh.
Big throwdown. Minnesota looks fired up tonight, though. The team as a whole look like they're attacking the rim. That's always good to see early in the game for Minnesota. Jesus, Luka, my Lord.
It doesn't even matter right now. Luka's determined to send him home.
The Luka overs tonight.
I'm glad. I thought about taking a Luka under, and I'm glad I just didn't touch that at all. So
Looks good to start, I'll tell you that.
Good D.
Sharing this out to a couple more people real quick.
Here we go. Come on.
Call it out, my guy.
Oh my goodness. Luka with the step back right over Jaden McDaniels. 4-4 to start the game.
They got to rush him.
They get the ball out of his hands. Oh, ball fake. Swings it over to Towns for 3. Off. Kyrie clears. Here comes Luka taking it down. Anthony Edwards picks him up. Oh, PJ Washington ball fakes, gets Rudy out of position. Count. Well, he got fouled. He could not finish that one.
Great start for Dallas.
Yeah, they couldn't have asked for a better start. Jaden McDaniels just did not stand a chance right there. PJ Washington, he's at the line, shooting 2. First shot is up, and it's good. And here comes Lively. Let's see how he plays coming off of a neck sprain from game 3. "13 for 13 on field goals this series. That is impressive."
Lively. He's been huge for them. He's been huge for Dallas this entire playoffs. As has PJ Washington. You want to talk about such a great move around the trade deadline, getting rid of Grant Williams, who was an absolute nightmare for that Dallas team, and getting PJ Washington in there. It's just been night and day.
Yeah, and turning Rashawn Holmes into somebody valuable because he wasn't doing any good either.
Who's Rashawn Holmes? I'm kidding.
Honestly, that's a great question to ask her on the trade deadline.
Former 76er. What is that? Good tipping by Cat, though. I don't want Rudy ever shooting that shot ever again. That is like one of those shots I do not want to see Rudy shooting.
He shot that, and like Patrick Ewing came into my head. Have you ever shot that shot? Do you practice that shot?
I don't think Rudy's ever practiced that shot before. Karl-Anthony Towns being aggressive on the offensive boards, which is big, but in order for Minnesota to win tonight, he cannot shoot 4 for 32 from 3 like he did the first 3 games.
There's Luka again. Shoots. It's a floater.
Does he have 14 points already?
He's up to 12 already.
It's unbelievable. Got to double it. Get the ball out of his hand. Somebody else has got to beat you.
Not sure this is the offense. Rudy with the post up, backing down Luka. And Rudy with the finish. All right. Good job, Rudy.
That's how you finish, though. You notice that he went into the body. He didn't allow it to take a fade hook or drop back or anything like that. Rudy went into the body and made sure he got fouled. Luka's not going to block you down there. You're too tall. You're too big, too strong.
Yeah, I'll give him credit. He does have some moments in the post when he takes it up strong. It looks really good. It's when he starts trying to finesse his way around.
Yeah.
First free throw is up and off. You can tell that was off as soon as you released it. Here comes Luka. Oh, they brought in Kyle Anderson already.
What is that?
Mike Conley.
That free throw is so bad.
Off. Okay. All right.
That's a heat check.
So he really tried right there. Little screen and roll action. Here comes Gobert. Swings it over to Conley. Swings it back to Kyle Anderson. A crossover. Kyle Anderson takes it up and it's off. Kyle Anderson moves in slow motion. Oh, Derek Jones misses the lob, but Kyrie corner three up. It's off, and nobody. Derek Jones misses the tip in. That's huge. Those are should have been some easy points for Dallas.
I felt like Dallas missed 3 buckets on one possession there.
Here you go. Here comes Ant. Cat fires it in, and Rudy Gobert draws the foul. Oh, Derek Light.
Whoa, what is that?
Whoa, Rudy.
Lively. That's got to be a tech on Lively, no?
Yeah, I think so. It looks like, okay, Jones hits him.
I mean, that was a hard foul. Let me see this. Hard foul, hit him in the face. Oh, I see what happened. Rudy grabbed him when he came down. Okay. They're going to look at this, right? Yeah, they're going to look at this. I think it's got to be a flagrant on the original foul, right?
Yeah, you got him in the face, and
wait, they're not giving him shooting?
Are they even? Okay, and now they're reviewing it. Okay,
Looked like they weren't even going to give him a shooting foul.
I thought for a second it didn't even look like they were going to go review it, and now all of a sudden, now we're going to take a look at it. All right,
he got hit in the face. Am I wrong? Did you see something I didn't see? What would you say that would be? You think that's a flagrant?
Probably a flagrant one.
Maybe not. Maybe not a postseason flagrant. That's a regular season flagrant.
That say flagrant one. Maybe a tech on Gobert for grabbing at him when he comes down.
You can't double tech. If they double tech for Gobert grabbing, I think that's a little much.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just a tough one. Just a tough one to gauge here. I have no clue what they're going to do with this one. Although I love it. I need chippiness in my playoff game, so I'm absolutely here for it.
You love when you get to game 5, game 6, game 7. You see like the frustration and seeing the same players over and over again. These guys really start disliking each other.
Yeah, that's very fair. Saying you're starting to see it. Say apparently Rudy's got beef with the entire front court at this point. I'm curious if the Timberwolves do lose here tonight. I think they're going to have some tough choices in the offseason. They're really a piece away. They're going to have to move one of their core pieces to get your piece. Really feels like we could be in the makings of a potential. So you can't really trade Gobert. It almost feels like your only options really is you'd have to trade away Karl Anthony Towns or Mike Conley to try to get that missing piece.
I don't make any bones about this. I've never been a huge Cat fan. I always think I thought he's soft since he came into the league. So I'm not a Cat fan to begin with. Let's start there. With that being said, I think that they 100% would have to move on from one of the Twin Towers.
Yeah, and I think it almost has to be Cat. I feel like they'd move on from Cat because you're not getting your value back with Rudy.
Yeah.
Cat's going to get you a better player, but so that'll be interesting. It might think if they bow out in 5, it might be what we need for a Karl Anthony Towns trade.
What's happening, everybody? Just want to check in. Everybody over on there on X. Appreciate all y'all checking in. I see all y'all, each one of you. Appreciate it. See you on Twitch. See you on Facebook. Appreciate everybody checking in.
Yeah, no, we always definitely appreciate y'all.
But let us hear you in the comments. Who you got winning the series? Who do you got winning the game? Let's start with game 5 tonight. But who do you got? Do you think Minnesota's got the chance to bring it to 7? See, I think that this is one of those games where if Minnesota wins this game, I think Game 6 is a must win for Dallas too, because going into Game 7 after blowing a 3-0 lead is not ideal.
Yeah, it really does feel like they'd have to slam the door in 6. Otherwise, they're in serious trouble if this gets back to Minnesota.
No flagrant, no shooting foul. I felt like that was wrong on multiple fronts.
All right, well, I guess it sets the tone for the rest of the game. Going to be allowing a lot of physicality. Here we go. We're going to get a Luka post up on Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson pokes it free. They're running. Here comes Ant. And count it.
I'll tell you this, and I mean this when I say this. I don't think there's been a player that's had more of an impact with less stats than Kyle Anderson this series.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He's just been all over.
He has such active hands too, like right there, just reaching behind and poking the ball away.
A good screen matters too, and I feel like that he sets a very good screen.
It feels like their best play so far just has been Kyle Anderson and Gobert setting screens for Ant and Cat and letting the magic happen.
Wolves got to make their free throws, man.
Woo! Luka misses the finger roll. Here comes Conley. Kyle Anderson now has it. Swings it over to Cat. Conley, open 3, corner. It's good.
My Conley guy, I told you to look out for this game. That was as clean as it gets.
Here you go. Kyrie splits the defense, pulls up 15-footer. Yeah, that's good.
Don't let him get rolling.
No.
That's too easy. That's automatic for him. That didn't even touch rim.
Here comes Kyle Anderson again. Gets a screen from Rudy. Rudy's backing down Luka and takes it up and count it.
Go ahead, Rudy, and one.
Nice. Way to be strong with it, Rudy.
Now he shoots free throws worse than me. This guy cannot shoot free throws. Cottrell has the funny line about Rudy Gobert. He said you can put him in an open gym and not allow him to dunk, and he doesn't think he can score 20 points by himself.
Hey, unless he's shooting post fades from 17 feet. As soon as he did that again against Denver, I was like, yeah, this is Minnesota's game, ain't it?
Yeah.
Here we go. Here comes Luka. Dribbling into some traffic, throws it over the top, lob to Derek Lively.
And Lively still has not missed a basket this series.
No, that's insane. Here we go. Rudy gives it to Conley, rejects the screen, passes it over to Rudy, swings it out to Cat. Cat's going to take it himself. He falls over, but maintains control of the ball. Ant's coming at Kyrie, gets going downhill, gives it up to Rudy. Off, here is Lively clears. Here comes Kyrie. He's taking it down. Gets right by Ant. And he can't get it over Gobert. Ant clears. Here comes Kyle Anderson. Mike Conley, corner 3. Oh, off. There we go. This swing it to Josh Green. Oh, and nobody picks up PJ Washington for the easy 2. Ooh.
Listen, Dallas's defense leading the offense there.
There we go. Screen for a little floater from Conley. A little hard, but Rudy gets the offensive board. Loses it. Tips it. Gets tipped out to Kyrie. Here comes Luka.
And you got to reset there. You got to grab that ball and reset if you're Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know what he was trying to do there.
That's not a tip.
Probably calling a timeout as Luka knocks down a step back.
Luka magic right now, man. Jesus. He's had a hell of a first quarter. 14 points, 6-8 shooting.
And as Cat draws the foul down, though, you just got to get the ball out of his hands. If he's shooting this well, let somebody else beat you.
Yeah, rush him. You got to run at him. You cannot just let Luka continue to do this to you.
Yeah, if PJ Washington or Derek Jones Jr. beats you, more power to him, but it just can't be Luka at this point.
He's already in the shit talking mood. Now, listen, I'd rather Luka be going off early in this game than late. Hopefully he can tire. Hopefully the pendulum swings the other way in the second half.
It's a lot of contact, but no call. Here we go. Hardy takes it down. Here comes Washington. He tries to swing it down low. It's stolen. Here comes Naz Reid. Naz Reid going to take it himself. Off. Rudy clears it. And I don't know what that was, but it's a miss, and Luka's now coming the other way with it.
Dude, Luka is just, he's on another planet right now.
Oh, my goodness. A heat check. Oh, my goodness. He just hit that.
I mean, he's on another planet. Look, you got to rush him and get him off the basketball. He's on another planet right now. Luka Doncic cannot be scoring. You cannot allow him to continue to score and burn you. And they're just allowing him to do it. Double him. Get the ball out of his hand. You see the way they're rushing Ant Edwards? Minnesota needs to be doing that with Kyle, you got to shoot that.
Oh, my goodness. Here comes Luka again.
Rush him. Double him. Get the ball out of his hands.
Luka again.
Oh, my Lord. How? How are you allowing this to timeout? That's a timeout.
I mean,
you can't allow that to happen. That is so wild. That's something silly right there.
What a start for Luka. Oh, my goodness. 20 of the 30 Mavs points.
He's on pace for 100 right now. It's so silly.
So Wilt Chamberlain 2.0, here we come.
Hey, if you're in the chat, let me hear you.
My goodness, what a start.
What a start for Luka Doncic. Dallas is putting Dallas on his back right now. He does not want this series to extend, especially after the last game.
So he's making sure this thing's over.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll bring it back to Minnesota and Denver game 7. Minnesota was down 20 at the half, came back and won that game. At one point, they were up 10 to 30-point swing. I don't think Minnesota's ever out of it, but this is a really good start for Dallas.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll definitely never count Minnesota out until that final whistle sounds, but definitely not an ideal start. There's got to be changes.
Yeah, 100%.
If they continue to guard the Mavs like this, then yeah, we might as well just start looking forward to Dallas-Boston.
Which, by the way, is not a series. I think that series is going to be great.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Watch the Celtics try to stop Luka on a heater. We got the Kyrie and Porzingis revenge games.
I'll ask you this question, and I mean this when I say it, right? When you break down the Celtics, and I asked this question last night, and I got a lot of flack for it, and anybody in the chat can hop in. Do you think that Jaylen Brown is a better Robin or Jason Tatum is a better Batman? And what I mean by that, and just to be very clear for anybody listening at home, I don't think Jason Tatum could ever lead a team like Dallas to the finals without like Luka, like let's say swap him and Luka out. I don't think Tatum can lead a mediocre team to the finals around him. You take Luka off of Dallas, that team's mediocre, right? They're a fringe playoff team. What does Jason Tatum make Dallas? Like if you swap superstars for Dallas and Boston, if you swap those superstars, it's a Boston sweep, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what superstar could you swap out Jason Tatum for, and they're not better? Giannis makes that Boston team better, right?
Yeah, it's tough because I do think Tatum's a heck of a talent, but half the time my issue with Tatum is his shot selection is just so whack sometimes. Because there was a debate we were doing. It was who would win between the 2008 Celtics and the 2024 Celtics. And Mo and I were talking, and he was telling me, 34-year-old KG might be too slow to guard Tatum, and I was like, I mean, that's fair, but at the same time, I watched Tatum get speed advantages all the time, then proceed to shoot a contested step back three. So KG probably wouldn't have to worry about.
08 Celtics. 08 Celtics in 5.
See,
08 Celtics in 5. People forget how good Rajon Rondo was. I'm not saying that Rajon Rondo was incredible for that 08 Celtics team.
See, I was the matchup I was nervous about with that 08 Celtics team is they would have to play the way that team was constructed, they'd have to play Perkins and Big Baby Davis, and then Porzingis and Horford are kind of just shooting warm-up jumpers.
But they wouldn't have to play both of them. They would run a lineup out of Rajon Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, KG, and Perkins. So Perkins, the only person that you're running out there that's a 5 is Perkins.
Yeah, and I think that's just a nightmare matchup for Perkins and Porzingis. That just does not sound like an ideal matchup.
Man, Minnesota is really fumbling the bag right now.
Man, that Minnesota doesn't even look like they were ready.
They don't at all, and it's not. I don't think they're not ready. I think Dallas is really coming in on a heater, and Minnesota's starting to really kind of feel that pressure. You get them down 15, 20 points in this game, I don't know if they can come back. I don't know if this is Game 7 versus Denver.
No, it doesn't feel like it.
We'll see. And
well,
team turnover for Dallas ball.
All right, let's see what the
you have to trap Luka here. You cannot allow Luka to continue to shoot on you.
I'll say that +2 with this Timberwolves. Oh no, okay, it's Wolves ball. I thought it was.
They moved it back.
Here we go. Kyle Anderson looking for the inbounds, swings it to Ant, who's going to have to hoist this up. Nope. Oh, it went in, but it was after the buzzer expired, so 24-second violation.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's still in his hands.
Yeah, it is. It's a good call. Watching it live, I thought Ant got it off, but he definitely didn't. He's not even off the ground.
Here we go. Here comes there we go. Send 2. And now Cat recovers back out.
Get rid of the ball. There you go. Get the ball out of his hand. I'll take this matchup.
There we go. Look. And we lose Luka in transition, who misses the 3. Luckily, Cat clears. Here comes Kyle Anderson. And Minnesota loses the ball again. It's tipped up in the air. Gafford tips it ahead to Green. Oh! What a sequence. Which leads to Gafford to the line.
Oh, man. Minnesota just keeps – there's 1:11 left in the first quarter, and I think they have to have 5-10 turnovers. First quarter.
No, yeah, this is – That's
a good foul by Nasri. They got
really
the court too. I like this lineup for Minnesota. They're going to be down at least 13.
All right. It went really well once they got the ball out of Luka's hands, and then they just proceeded to turn it over twice right back to him. So
31-18 right now.
Oh, good grief.
I really need to see Ant Edwards attacking the rim. Like, I have to see that superstar take over.
Well, let's see what happens. Here comes Kyle Anderson bringing the ball up and catches it up high. He's got a one-on-one matchup with Maxi Kleber. If you take a jumper here, Ant. Here he comes getting downhill, and he's fouled. Okay.
Okay.
I thought they didn't call it. I thought they were going to call foul for a second. I was like, there's no way. He got him right on the arm.
Right on the wrist. Right on the wrist.
There we go.
Got to make your free throws, man. This is got to make your free throws. This is was that 4 missed free throws right for Minnesota?
Yeah, let's see.
I know Gobert missed. Yeah, it's got to be 4, right?
2 of 5 from the free throw line right now.
It's terrible.
Oh.
There you go, make one. Is that Mo better? Is Mo better here? Mo, we need the Minnesota Timberwolves are begging for you to come in and help them.
I think so far it's just been the Luka show.
100%.
Here we go, Luka, and he throws up a wow.
I can't believe that worked out for them. That's a broken play that worked out.
I'll say he overthrew that lob, but it took that perfect bounce off the backboard. Here we go. Naz Reid getting downhill, and he takes it up over Gafford. Off. And Luka's going to take last shot, wind down the quarter. Luka, don't even call for a screen here.
I would double right now. I don't care if I would double off him right now.
Agreed.
Get the ball out of his hand. There you go. And Kyrie is going to make him pay. Yep. 16-point lead at the end of one. Not a good start for Minnesota, man. Not the start you're looking for at home.
I'm down to double. No, I'm down to double, but I hated what they did there. You don't double off Kyrie from one pass away.
Correct.
Like send somebody from the
Lively catch the ball in the dunker spot. Make Lively catch the ball on the perimeter. But do not allow Kyrie to be the person that catches the ball 6 feet away.
Right. Or if you're gonna come double off Kyrie, you gotta make sure somebody else rotates to him, regardless. It can't be Kyrie.
It's wild.
Oh.
Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in right now on Facebook. Looks like we're sitting around 400 right now on Facebook. 40 of you guys over on X. Appreciate you. And see you guys over there on Twitch. I appreciate you.
Hey, did you see that thing that Jeff Teague did on his podcast? And he was talking, and Jeff Teague says some wild stuff sometimes, but he said, is it crazy to think that Chris Paul had a better career than Allen Iverson?
No, I think Chris Paul had a better career than Allen Iverson.
And the answer was, and so people called me crazy because I said, I don't think Jeff Teague's crazy. I said, Iverson is a more iconic figure. But if you separate that and just look at them as basketball players, I can make a case that Chris Paul's had a better career than Allen Iverson.
100%.
Say, I think he has. I just think when it comes to Allen Iverson, sometimes a lot of people get blinded by nostalgia. Like, AI's iconic. AI's a phenomenal player. I love Allen Iverson, but sometimes people like to throw him in conversations that I don't think he necessarily should be a part of.
I mean, Allen Iverson really only had if we're being honest with ourselves, he really only had like a 9 to 10 year career. Chris Paul had a 19-year career. It's a totally different situation. Allen Iverson's legs gave out on him late in his career. He was 2005, 2006. He was borderline worthless. And nothing against Allen. I'm a 76ers fan. I'm just calling it like it is. When LeBron came in the league, you didn't really hear much about Allen Iverson anymore.
Yeah, the Iverson that was on the Timberwolves or the Grizzlies and on the Pistons, that wasn't Allen Iverson. That was what was left of Allen Iverson.
Pistons legend Allen Iverson.
Yeah, that wasn't AI, and
Even
I think Gene is spot.
Even Nuggets AI wasn't great.
Nuggets AI wasn't great, but he was much better than Pistons and Grizzlies AI. Like at least he looked like a basketball player. He was a statue by the time he got to Detroit. His legs were completely shot.
What the 76ers did to Allen Iverson in the beginning of his career was borderline criminal. And they essentially pushed out any other scorer and built a whole offense around Allen. Larry Hughes used to be on those teams. The Flight brothers, Jerry Stackhouse used to be on those teams. They traded all of them out, to basically go with a lineup that was just built around Allen scoring. And that was good enough to get to the get to the finals, but it was not good enough to get to the win the NBA finals.
I agree. Although that said, if you don't make some of those moves and you keep Jerry Stackhouse with Allen Iverson, that didn't work either. That wasn't going to work either because Stackhouse was a volume scorer too. There's no way they could coexist. So Stackhouse had to go.
I love people that post a live link to a legal link to the website on our page. Appreciate you, brother.
It's Kyrie knocks on the step back 13-footer. Ooh, both of them are starting.
The game is getting out of hand quick.
Here we
I
go.
really hope we're not in for a blowout tonight. I'm looking for a good game. It's in Minnesota. I really want to see Minnesota get back into this game.
I want to see them get back into this series. As a basketball fan, I wanted a great 7-game series, and I've gotten 4 great games, but I need a great series.
Yeah.
Here you go. Kyrie's going to stop and pop. Oh! Passes that out to Maxey. Who hits it?
21-point lead. That's a lot, man. It's a lot in the NBA. They got to close in. Your goal is now not to tie the game at halftime. Your goal is to cut it in half. Get it to the veteran, Mike Conley.
It's not okay. He hit it.
Shake and bake. Listen, I'll tell you right now, they're dying for veteran presence.
I get Kyrie and Luka cooking you, but how do you let Josh Green get to the basket that easy?
Yeah, that's a problem.
Conley touched the ball.
Here we go.
Run the offense through him. There you go.
Oh, good look for Conley. Off, but here we go. Come on. And
you got fouled.
Conley going to the line. Kleber hit a 3, empty the arena, game over.
Kyle. Maxi Kleber.
And I'm amazed that Kleber is able to stay on the floor because he's on Naz Reid and they're not switching anything. That matchup should work literally in Naz Reid's favor. Like they should just ISO Naz Reid on Kleber. There's nothing Kleber can do with Naz Reid.
Hey, check the box score, bro. How many fouls does Ant Edwards have?
Ant Edwards has no fouls.
He has to be on the court right now. These are 2 crucial possessions right now.
So the only guy who's in foul trouble is Jaden McDaniels. Has 2 already.
Yeah, they're not going to get back into this game if they're going to trade. They got to get stops. Like they hang their hats on defense, and right now their defense is failing them.
Good trap.
That was almost great defense until Alexander Walker decided to try to block that shot.
I mean, you can't allow Kyrie that low in the paint by himself. You got to rush him, make him pass the ball, especially without Luka on the court. They're sitting Luka. They're getting Luka bench time right now.
Yeah,
you have to rush Kyrie and get him off the ball.
Yeah, I'm amazed that they're not just running that similar defense to Kyrie with Luka off the court. Just
run the same defense they're running on Ant. They're literally running a trap and rush.
Here comes Ant. So let's see if they'll.
They don't need to counter with Luka. I would get Luka all the time.
If Ant's not in foul trouble tonight, guys, he got to play 45, 46 minutes.
That's facts, especially now. You're down 21. Down 21 points right now.
Here we go. Kyrie hits the second, pushes the lead back up to 21.
Jesus.
Here comes Conley.
I want them to get back in the game, but they're not playing smart basketball.
Swings it to Ant, who has a one-on-one against Kyrie.
I don't know why you're asking for a screen here.
Naz sizes it up. Off.
It's not a bad shot, but I don't know why you're bringing a screen to Ant Edwards one-on-one on Kyrie Irving. Isn't that what you want?
Right. He doesn't need a screen. Right.
Why do that? If you can line up Ant Edwards one-on-one versus Kyrie Irving all game, Minnesota would take that every possession. Kyrie's known for his offense, not his defense.
I'm with you 100%. I don't even know, like you said, why do you call for that screen? Anthony Edwards one-on-one with anybody, let alone a guy he's got a good 4 or 5 inches on, he's going to get something good, whether he scores or gets fouled. Something good is going to come from that matchup one-on-one.
You're right.
Good read by Conley to start the fast break. Here we go. Swings it back to Kyle Anderson. Lives up to the name Slow-Mo right there as he misses the shot. Oh! And tried to get that steal.
And they were very generous not calling a foul there either.
Yeah. Here comes Lively with the ball up top. Oh. Fakes the handoff to Kyrie. Good denial by the Timberwolves. Oh, letting Kyrie get downhill. Kyrie takes it up. Oh, wow. Good shot by Kyrie, getting it over Gobert and flipping it up.
He needs to take over, Ant-Man needs to take over.
There it is. Ant-Man with the 3.
Kyrie's amazing. He makes shots he has no business being able to make.
That's fact.
Oh, travel on Kleber.
Yeah, what was that? Did he feet shuffle? That's terrible footwork. That's awful footwork.
Kyrie made it look easy, but that's a tough shot.
Bro, he's the best tough shot maker in the league. Like, he's the best tough shot maker in the league.
It's just insane how easy he makes it look.
Luka's back on the court. Oh, no, he's not. Yeah, he is.
There he is, yeah.
The way this game is playing out right now, the Timberwolves, they're going to need a lot of help from the Mavs to get back into this.
100%. They need someone to go cold.
Good take by Cat.
Nice drive. Rush him. Get the ball out of his hands.
What
are we doing? We're not even stepping up on the double. Oh, my God.
The Timberwolves try to watch
this. I can't watch this.
The Timberwolves just running the worst double team ever at that point.
They're fading the double.
Come on, Kyle Anderson. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. Cat. Okay. Cat gets it back after the tip and puts it up and in.
Hey, Cat's playing hard. Give him that.
Here we go. Here comes Lucas. Nice little pass to Lively. And he's fouled.
Yeah, that's a bad foul, too. You're going to foul him and give him no chance to make the shot, or you're not going to foul him. That's a bad foul by Conley. Because he should have made the shot, if we're being honest.
Right.
I do not need to see a replay of that. Why is Gobert why are they all both going to play Derek Lively? No, Lively's been a force, but you don't need 3 people on him. He ain't prime Shaq.
Right.
Wait, he's not
the
prime
thing
Shaq?
I don't get is don't hedge on Luka though. Don't hedge on him. Blitz him. Don't hedge.
Yes,
don't make it a secret. Go get him.
100%.
This is your
season. They got to cut this game to 10 by halftime.
Yeah.
We got to get it down to 10. 10 or 12. I think going into half at 12 wouldn't be the worst thing for this half for Minnesota. But 10 or 12 is where you want to get this game at. Listen, Karl-Anthony Towns isn't shooting well, but I'll give him credit. He is definitely playing hard tonight, playing with emotion.
Cat is playing all out. I'll give him that.
Yeah. When Cat decides to balance out
100 shots a day he's taking, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Here we go. Cat again being aggressive, drawing the foul.
But I'm okay with that. That's exactly what I want to see from Cat.
Say when
how many free throws a day do you think he takes? 1,500 too?
According to him,
Right.
probably.
Bro, how bad was that? I'm sorry. Like, we have time. He's shooting free throws. How asinine was that comment?
Yeah,
he didn't put a lot of thought in it because as soon as he said it, like everybody in the room was like, "Yeah, okay."
What? What'd you say?
yeah, I heard him say that. I was like, yeah, no, I don't think so, but
So watch along, my friend. We're not posting a live link to the appreciate you though. But the scoreboard is on the screen, 49-32. Dallas over Minnesota. So appreciate you guys checking in.
They're primed for a run. All right. And if Cat's gonna play going downhill, that's perfect because every time you get to the free throw line, you stop the clock.
You are.
here we go. Here we go. Here comes Luka with the ball again. Here comes a Gafford screen. Double swings it to the corner. Derrick Jones Jr. off, but
possession. That's a good possession for Minnesota.
Oh, absolutely.
I get the rebound.
Luka short. There we go.
That's good defense. I need to see more of that.
Force him to shoot off balance. Here we go. Here comes Ant with the floater, and I'm not necessarily a fan of that one, but
I'm okay with Ant attacking.
Here we go. Here we go. Here comes Kyle Anderson, Naz Reid. Oh, wow. It's still loose.
What are we doing?
Corner three and off.
Got to make those shots. Dallas has numbers. Wide open. That's a free throw. That's a free throw.
Pretty much.
Oh, corner three and a free throw are almost the same thing. A wide open corner three at the NBA level and a free throw are almost the same thing. Nice take. Got to give Cat his credit, man. He's playing hard.
Definitely giving Cat his flowers this game. Man's getting down.
Probably a foul, too, for being honest.
Oh, yeah. And Cat staying out of foul trouble.
Blitz the ball. Perfect.
There we go. Good defense.
All right, here comes the run. Maybe.
Let's get it down to 10 or 12. Timeout on the floor. Guys, I really feel like if I was in a Minnesota huddle, I'd be like, what are you guys doing? You guys forget the entire game plan for this game?
Right. No, absolutely.
At least we're starting to see some defense, which is good.
Yeah, look, if they're going to get stopped, that's good. But look, I want my version of Karl Anthony Towns playing downhill. And if Cat's going to attack, I think good things are going to happen. I don't care if he scores 12 or 14 points from the free throw line. I'll live with that because that makes him being productive. And again, it stops the clock. So that works in their favor.
It's factual.
Yeah, I like Ant being aggressive. The one shot I said I didn't like, I just don't like the idea of a 2-footed floater with 18 seconds on the clock. That's something I can get with 5 seconds on the clock. So I think you got time to work around for a better shot.
They got 5 minutes to steal 6 points. In my personal opinion, if you get this at the halftime at 10 to 12 points, you're a happy Minnesota fan.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I think they need a little bit more activity, a little bit more help from Jay McDaniels. You almost forget he's on the floor.
Is he on the floor? I don't think he is. He's got 3 fouls.
Yeah, no, he came back into the game, picked up his third foul, and they had to pull him right away.
He just has an impact from the foul trouble. I got you.
Yeah. Jay McDaniels needs to have more of an impact. Rudy Gobert is almost worthless on the court. So watch along, fellas. Appreciate the comments, though. We'll keep repeating that. I don't want to be that guy, but it's a watch along. So we're going to break the game down for you. You can see the score on the screen, but we will not be posting any live illegal links. Thank you, though.
Yeah, I wish we could just stream the game, but Facebook and the
Oh,
NBA
no
wouldn't
way.
like that. They would
Yeah,
not like that.
our page would be shut down just as quick.
The
Mhm.
quickness, no doubt.
I've worked really hard. I mean, side topic. I know there's a lot of people listening. I worked really hard to keep our violations low, to be able to keep us to be able to have live watch alongs and have no issues with it. So,
Yeah, definitely happy about that.
man,
I
remember
watched.
that nightmare when the page getting deleted at the other spot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
won't bring it up.
I watched the last episode of Wire to Wire. That was a really good, healthy back and forth with you, Cottrell, and Shally. The conversation that you guys were having back and forth about Jason Tatum. I love that. I thought that was pure entertainment and a lot of basketball knowledge.
I asked Brett the same question earlier. I don't think that Jason Tatum, and you said he's top 10 player in the league, and that's fine. I have him in the 10 to 15 range. The more I look at it, I probably would have him top 10, but I don't know, man. There's something about him I don't like. And maybe it's he's a Celtic, but I like Jaylen Brown. But I like Jaylen Brown.
I do
like,
too.
I look at some of these lists and I'm just like, how much better is Jason Tatum than Jaylen Brown? And I'd rather have Jaylen Brown as my number 2 option than Jason Tatum as my number 1.
It's tough for me because I'm the first one that I always tell people don't get caught up in who's more talented. I mean, talent is great, but don't get caught up in who's more talented. Get caught up in who's more impactful or more productive, whatever you want to call it. And so I think Tatum is the more talented player, but I think that Jaylen Brown is more of a dog. Jaylen Brown, I think Tatum's a little bit better, but it's not a huge gap between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. If the Celtics win the finals, would it shock me if Jaylen Brown was finals MVP? Not at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
By the way, another Kyle Anderson play to be able to get himself, I don't know. He could steal him an extra possession. The guy has been very good without filling up the stat sheet. Old slow-mo.
I'll say I'm not sure what his contract status is, but they definitely got to keep him around.
Guys like Kyle Anderson, they help stars win games by doing a lot of stuff that you don't see on a stat sheet. Brett, you and I were talking about this last episode. He's very similar skill set wise to Boris Diaw.
Oh, love Boris Diaw. No, absolutely. We talked about Boris Diaw, and then I ended up like spending half the night watching like 2014 Boris Diaw highlights.
You're very committed to your craft. Spend half your night watching Boris Diaw. I would have needed coffee or an energy drink.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not watching Boris Diaw's highlight package.
No.
Listen, he made some awesome passes. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, half the time my nights consist of like after this game, I'll probably rewatch it a couple times just to make sure I didn't miss anything. So next week, if we talk about it, I'll be ready for it. Hey, we might actually have another guest next week, by the way. Might have lined up another one.
That's cool. Let me ask you this, guys. If the Timberwolves end up losing tonight and their season is over, it's a simple question. With what they have with their core, do you just stand pat and go, we'll run it back because we took out the Nuggets. We're clearly good enough to get to the Western Conference Finals. Or do you think about tinkering with the roster?
You have to tinker with the roster. They're the least athletic. They're the least athletic team in the Western Conference, not named Los Angeles.
You're talking about the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Clippers aren't that athletic either, if you think about it. But yeah, I know the Lakers for sure aren't athletic.
Yeah, I think the only way for that is I think you're going to get have to look at the Karl Anthony Towns trade to make that kind of an impact.
Look at this. Kyrie is 3 defenders on him, and that's a free throw. It's a free throw. You can't allow that. You can't have 3 guys on Kyrie and leave free throws open in the corner. They're free throws. That's what they are.
2 of 10 from deep. And, good defense by Luka to get him on the break.
Oh, my. Nas Reed's having a terrible game.
Okay.
Nas Reed is not having a good game right now.
Kyrie had that man on skates.
Kyrie can basically have anybody in the whole league on skates. His ball
Facts.
handling is incredible. Let me ask you a question just for fun because we're basically watching a blowout right now. You who best ball handler you ever seen in your life?
I'm gonna
Best
go
ball
Kyrie.
handler.
I can give you 3 guys if you want to like just pick from 3, but
If I had to think about it, probably Kyrie Irving, Jamal Crawford. He's got to be up there too. He's got an insane dribble game.
I would go Kyrie. I would go Isaiah Thomas. I might go Tim Hardaway.
yeah, creator crossover. So he's 4th on my list. I'd go Kyrie 1, Steph 2, AI 3, and the creator crossover 4. That's my 4.
No, that's a good 4. The only reason I don't have Steph as high is because his crossover, the way he uses it, is more of an escape dribble, where the other guys, when they go crossover, they're attacking you.
Yeah, but the way he shoots the escape dribble to peel out is actually just as dangerous as someone laying the ball up.
No doubt, no doubt.
Here we go. Oh, good defense from Ant.
And good defense, but it's still a terrible use of a double team. Rudy fading is not what they want him to do off that screen. Do you see what Dallas just did to Anthony Edwards? That's blitz ball.
Oh,
What is that, Cat?
PJ Washington behind the back.
Oh God.
This is bad basketball, guys.
Timberwolves got to get some playmakers on this team. Like, I need some guys that can actually pass the basketball.
I think they're playing too fast.
This
This is not their pace. If they're going to play fast.
Oh, come on. Don't do this.
Oh, that's a flag. That's going to be a flagrant.
That's exactly what he's trying to draw.
Wow.
Let me see how hard he gets hit before I say this, because it didn't look like he made it like he got hit with a hammer.
Yeah, I got to see the replay because
I just seen it. I guess I don't know. It's not intentional.
I mean he clocked him.
Jay, you gotta
It
sell
look
it.
like you got hit with a baseball bat, though, Mo.
No, I'm with you. Look, it's an element about today's NBA that I don't like. To me, that's just a foul. That's just it's just a foul. Clearly he didn't do it on purpose, but it's just a regular foul.
I couldn't agree with you more. 72 of you guys watching on X. I appreciate you. Over 200 of you on Facebook. Appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, smash the like button for us. Give us a like, share. Anything you can do would appreciate us. We'll continue to do these live streams for you guys. Appreciate everybody out there. A retweet on Twitter would be helpful too.
We love it. Hey, let me give you a question, Brett, or both of you guys. Honorable mention with the ball handling. Would anybody consider adding, if we said 10 guys, would anybody have Rod Strickland in their top 10?
Yeah, Brett.
Let's see. I think he'd make the top 10. Kyrie, Jamal Crawford, Steph, Isaiah Thomas, Penny Hardaway.
You know who had a mean handle but he had a short career? I mean, he had a mean handle. If you watched him and remember him, but he's one of those forgotten guys because he had a short moment when he was productive and then he kind of faded. Jamal Tinsley.
Sure. Muggsy had a great handle, but he was 5'3", so
right, fair.
Say Steve Francis.
The franchise.
The franchise. He absolutely had a handle.
Starberry had a handle too.
Oh, don't forget everybody's YouTube favorite, Jason Williams.
Oh, white chocolate.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
You talking about the elbow passes, man?
Yeah. They loved him. His YouTube highlight reel is one of the best.
It is.
You would think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer just based off the YouTube reel.
His elbow behind the back elbow pass was insane. When he pulled that out, no one ever seen that before.
Yeah, he was an insane passer, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is? When you look at the highlights, you see all the passes that he made. When you watched him play, you've seen all the turnovers it caused.
And there it is. That's my thing. I think Jason Williams is one of the most overrated players ever.
100%.
It is not an accident that Sacramento got better as soon as they got rid of him and brought in Mike Bibby. It's not an accident.
I'll say Mike Bibby was one of the big reasons that they almost knocked the Lakers out of the playoffs.
Well, Mike Bibby could do something Jason Williams actually couldn't do. He could shoot. Jason Williams was a bricklayer. He couldn't shoot.
You remember the old expression in golf: you drive for show, but you putt for dough. Jason Williams was show. Is he really getting carried to the locker room for this?
Oh no,
this is not real.
Somebody get the wheelchair out.
I've been elbowed in the head before playing basketball. Oh no,
you know what?
Now.
You know what, guys? Let's not forget though. He did have the head injury a couple games back. Maybe that's compounded by what happened tonight.
No, he's on the line shooting free throws. It is a flagrant one.
Like I said, there's no way he did that intentionally, and it did. I can't be Derek Lively, but even on the replay, it didn't look brutal.
No.
Yeah, that just must have bothered him more because of that neck sprain he came in with.
That's what I thought. Maybe that's what it was.
Looks fine now.
You know, injuries always seem to clear up in the NBA as soon as the player gets on offense.
And they get to shoot. Right.
As soon as the flagrant's called, he's fine.
Here we go. Here goes Kyrie attacking downhill. Fade away. Money.
Guys, this game's over.
I thought, come on, Minnesota. Let's go.
This game's over, guys. I don't want to say that because we have a lot of people watching, and I would want to continue. We'll continue giving you basketball talk all night, but this game's over. Wide open three. Brick.
What? Jordan McLaughlin? Did one of the guards die on the bench? Why is McLaughlin in the game?
Luka, way too much space. This game's over, guys.
Yeah, they're already emptying out the bench unit. You got McLaughlin into the second quarter.
Come on. I didn't pick Minnesota to win this series. I had Dallas in 7, but I thought Minnesota was a team that even when they played bad, they always played with heart, and I'm not seeing any heart.
Oh my goodness. Luka, just don't call for a screen. You don't need one here. Good way to tip it out of bounds, but
I know we're in the middle of a blowout, but doesn't Jordan McLaughlin look like Ricochet from WWE?
He does, bro. I was wondering who he looked like. He does. That's exactly who it is. Oh, man.
Here we go. Kyrie matched up and almost won my parlay in the first half.
Wild, right? Jesus. But 30, 29 points they're down.
Whew. It's not even a hard shot for Kyrie shooting over McLaughlin. That's just a warm-up shot. Here we go. Screen for Cat. Kyle Anderson. Money.
That's the slowest release I've ever seen in my life.
I think everything he does is slow.
Oh, my Lord.
He definitely lives up to the nickname.
He does. Look, he's a good basketball player, but man.
Mo, did you guys see that ESPN highlight, which I thought was absolutely hilarious, where they were questioning if they were calling out Luka for not celebrating enough for Jaylen Brown winning the Eastern Conference Finals MVP?
Yeah, I didn't. That is like literally pulling something out of nothing. Like, what is Luka supposed to do, and why would he care?
Hey, board.
I don't get that at all. Like Luka's mission is if and when they're done with Minnesota is to defeat Boston. He doesn't care if Jaylen Brown. I mean, I'm sure he's like, I mean, good for him getting his flowers, but Luka's coming to Boston to win the title. He's on a mission.
They were complaining about Tatum not celebrating enough.
I don't know. I think what they think they're trying to make it seem like. Do you think Jason Tatum is jealous? Let's be honest. If he's a human being, he is jealous. I'm sure he's happy for his teammate. But
Right
you don't think Jason Tatum wanted to be Eastern Conference player of the MVP? No doubt he wanted to win it. But I believe Jaylen Brown earned that. I don't think he was given that. I think he was earned that.
I wouldn't be happy for either one, because think of it this way, right? Jaylen Brown missed out on a lot of money because he didn't get named to any NBA all NBA.
Right.
He lost out. Like I'm sure Jaylen Brown doesn't care if he got named Eastern Conference MVP,
right,
when he's not going. He missed out on a lot of money because he didn't get named to an All NBA team. He's not eligible for a Supermax. Luka from half court almost hit it too.
And going into halftime, it's a 29-point game.
Anybody want to live bet Minnesota money line?
Listen, you got to make a killing right now if you live bet it. If they pull it off. If Kuzma had been traded to Dallas, would they still be in the Western Conference Finals?
No. I think they got the exact two players they wanted in Gafford and Washington, and they both have had the impact that Dallas expected. Now, Washington's not shooting great tonight, but he's been good for them on both ends of the floor. I'm a Lakers fan. What I can tell you about Kyle Kuzma is he don't play much defense.
Yeah, they needed guys like Gafford and Washington to kind of do the little things for them, get things that, Luka and Kyrie don't want to do. Kuzma wants to do the exact things that Luka and Kyrie want to do, so
that's the problem with Kuzma, right? He feels like he's a number one, and he's a number 3 at best. I think he's a 4, but he thinks he's a number 1 option, and he's not.
Well, he can play number 1 option all he wants with Jordan Poole over in Washington.
Yeah, he can be number 1 on Washington and lead him right into the lottery.
It's a pool party, man.
Let me ask you this, Brett. You're big on the young kid Sarr coming out, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at this draft as a whole, I'm talking about top to bottom, especially the guys that are in the lottery. Do you see multiple stars in this draft? Because when I look at this draft, it reminds me a lot of the Kenyon Martin draft.
I think there's solid role players to be had. I don't think if you're looking for your franchise changing guy in this year's draft, I don't think you're finding it.
No.
I think you can find your guy to put next to the guy, but
yes, you're going to have some really good players. You're not having any franchise players. There's nobody like that in this draft.
Well, first of all, guys, we all need to slow down a little bit. Bronny James is in this draft.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. I almost forget. Right.
Going number 22 to Phoenix.
That's crazy that he's the biggest name in this draft.
That's sad.
Really moved by his 5 points per game.
I love the I don't know. Alex Sarr, I mean, like, what is his ceiling? Evan Mobley?
Yeah, you know what? I think you're spot on, Gene. I don't think he's a star, but I think he's going to be a really good player. But if he's going to be a really good player, would you take him at number 1? That's why I said that only Atlanta would get the number 1 pick in a year where there's not like a franchise player or a star. Like, I don't see his value for Atlanta. Like if I'm Atlanta, I'm trading the pick.
But nobody's trading up for 1 this year because they also understand that there's no value in this draft.
Never say never. As long as Detroit exists, you're in business. As long as Charlotte and Detroit exist, you're in business.
I think Sarr could be a defensive anchor, so I think there's some value to be had. But I guess what team is that desperate for an anchor?
I actually think Klingon from UConn, the big guy. I think he has the potential to be the most solid NBA pro for the next 10 years. Like, I think he can be a starting center in the NBA. He's going to be able to play defense, rim protect. He's going to be a better version of Hartenstein for the Knicks. I mean, I don't think he'll be Marc Gasol, but he'll be in that realm.
I keep trying to figure out who the Bucks are going to draft, and then I'm kind of remember that Doc Rivers will probably pull Kendrick Perkins out of the booth to play minutes before he actually plays a rookie. So
you guys need some young legs, Brett. You got, like Gene talked about, unathletic teams. You're outside of Giannis. Take Giannis out of the picture. You guys have no athletes. None. Zero. None.
Well, you want to tell Doc that? Because that's what frustrated me in the playoffs. I had watched Andre Jackson Jr. give these awesome minutes just for in the deciding game 6. Doc was like, yeah, okay, yeah, go to the end of the bench. Here's Danilo Gallinari.
Do you know how bad this draft class is? I just looked this up, right?
I told you.
I looked up a mock draft, and a mock draft right here has the Pistons at number 5, selecting Dalton Knecht, the 5th-year starting point guard for Tennessee. Now, you're not going to find a bigger Dalton Knecht fan than me. I love the kid. But Dalton Knecht cannot be a top 5 pick in this NBA draft. Dalton Knecht is like a better version. Who's that stiff that went to Gonzaga that plays for Washington and got drafted like 11th or 12th? White kid. Kisping?
Yeah. I know you're talking
He's
about.
like a better version of Corey Kisping. And like, he's going to be a top 5 pick. And I like Knecht. I do. But Knecht is a streaky shooter. He's not athletic. Like, Dalton Knecht's ceiling is Tyler Hero, who was drafted, 29th?
Right.
Like
hey, everybody can't get lucky like Philly and draft. Where was Maxey? 22nd or something like that?
21st? Yeah, something
right. Like and look what he's turned into. He's an absolute monster.
But like, his ceiling is Tyler Hero.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine picking 5 and being like, yeah, we just drafted, might be the next Tyler Hero.
The next Tyler Hero, right. At 5, right.
It's crazy.
No, I chuckled because I also looked at somebody's like mock draft and they even had player comps, and the top 3 player comps are Evan Mobley, Kirk Heinrich, and Harrison Barnes. I'm like, oh God.
Kirk Heinrich was the number 3 overall pick, I believe, the year he came out. Corey Kispert, that's it. Sorry. Thank you.
I remember. Kirk
I forgot about him because I said how much of a stiff he was going to be coming out of Gonzaga. I can tell you what he looks like. I can tell you his weird haircut. I can tell you can't make a 3-pointer when anybody's got a hand in his face. Like that Corey Kispert. I know who Corey Kispert is. I completely blanked on his name because he's irrelevant. Him and Alex Lynn were my 2 perfect calls coming out of
Alex Lynn. Oh, no.
I said Alex Lynn will be talked about more on draft night than he will his entire NBA career. And I was absolutely correct.
Harrison Barnes was a nice piece on Golden State. I agree with that, Alex. The question is, would you draft Harrison Barnes at number 3?
And they had the luxury at the time of having Harrison Barnes be like their 4th option. That's a luxury. Like you know what I mean? Like but when they had the opportunity to get KD, you didn't think they jettisoned Harrison Barnes real quick? Like I think Harrison Barnes has been a good player. But if you look at Sacramento and how they peaked the year before last and what they look like this past season, giving Harrison Barnes that huge extension, I don't understand that way of thinking at all. I don't understand that at all. It's not like he averages 20-something points a game or he's a first-team All-NBA defender. Harrison Barnes is what you would call a good, solid pro, but you don't pay good, solid pros almost $100 million.
Absolutely correct. Let me ask you a question real quick. Is there anybody in this draft that you think is being undervalued that could have a value of a Tyrese Maxey in the future? Could be a all-star, a diamond in the rough. I have one, and I wanted to see if anybody else said it. But I watched him play a lot because me, us guys on Wire to Wire, we we're very into that college basketball scene come end of January to April. Now, let me be very clear with you. Until January 15th hits, I'm all NFL, and you're not going to get me to watch a lot of college basketball until January 15th hits. But there's a kid that I think has the potential to be an all-star caliber player that's not projected in the top 10.
I know the one guy I was researching before for I was going to do possibly for the next puppy prospects is Deron Holmes.
Okay.
I think he has some potential to be a nice floor spacing big in the NBA, but I don't think he's going to be like an all-star. I just think he's going to be could be a very good role player for a winning team.
I'm going to give you guys a name on this podcast tonight that everybody can go in their head and they can think about and remember. Remember the name Jacoby Walter. He's a wing from Baylor. The guy can shoot. He's a 2-level scorer. He's got a 6'9" wing. He's a 6'6" guy. I think he can be a player, and he's a freshman, so he's not really hit his potential yet. So I think that in this year's draft, you're probably drafting prospects to grow as opposed to safe bets to know. Right? That rhymes for you guys.
I like that. This might be one of those drafts, Brett, where there's going to be a lot of European players that we've never heard of drafted who won't set foot into the league for like 3 or 4 years. You know, the guys they draft that they stash away for like 2 or 3 years before they bring. I think this draft might feature a lot of those guys.
I'll say I think this draft will be good for a team like the Spurs having those 2 lottery picks, because I think you can get 2 like really like good players to put next to Wemby. So I think this is a perfect draft for like San Antonio, but they already have the guy for that team.
I think the Spurs, the perfect fit for the Spurs, the guy they have to get is Steven Castle. They got to get the kid from UConn, the wing from UConn. He's a perfect fit around Wemby. You don't want to. I think that's who they have to go out and get, and I think you can get him at 4.
I know one of the picks will have to go guard, and I was thinking the other wing too. So I haven't had to look at Stephen Castle more, because I had done the research on Cody Williams, and the first thought I had was he'd probably go pretty well with the Spurs.
Okay.
Is Jaden McDaniels? Jaden McDaniels is not injured. He just picked up 3 fouls really quick, so he's been sitting on the bench this entire half pretty much.
At this point, yeah, you kind of have to roll with them to start the second half. You got to make a run early. I mean, I don't want to say the game's over, but
now it's one of those games, Gene, where you want to get it down to 12 or 13 by the fourth quarter, right? Isn't that the goal?
Yeah, and I don't know if they can. You have to win.
Not if they're gonna trade baskets like that. This is the part that I don't understand. Like, I get that you can have bad shooting nights. That's gonna happen. This has been the best defensive team in the NBA the entire season. And they're just letting Luka and Kyrie dissect them. They're letting Luka and Kyrie play one-on-one, and I don't understand it. I'm not letting Luka play one-on-one. If Derrick Jones Jr. can beat me shooting the 3, if Washington can beat me shooting the 3, then that's what's going to happen. But I'm not going to let Luka and Kyrie dictate the pace. I'm blitzing them, getting the ball out of their hands. They have to get back to what they do best, and that's play defense.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I saw the most insane thing on TikTok. Somebody decided to post and ask, okay, guys, who would win the 2024 Celtics if we gave them Kyrie Irving, or the 2016 Warriors if we gave them LeBron James? And they're talking 2016 LeBron. I was like, what? That series would probably be over in 4.
Yeah, it'd be Warriors in 3. They wouldn't even show up to the 4th.
It's like, when you made this, did you forget how good 2016 LeBron James was?
But see, the thing about LeBron is you never really get, and this is the truth, right? You never really get a true evaluation from him, because, and I mean this about 90% of basketball watch. I think there's only about 10% that give you an honest evaluation of LeBron. It's either LeBron is the greatest player ever and they overvalue him, or the people that hate that he gets overvalued so much undervalue him and become complete haters of LeBron.
I agree.
LeBron
There's
James
no
is
middle
the
ground.
second best player of all time. He's not Mike, but he's better than everyone else that's not named Mike. If you want to make an argument for like Kobe or Kareem or Magic at that like second or third spot, fourth spot, you can, but you can't make it for any of those guys over LeBron for what he's done for the league. But
yeah, I know when we did our greatest of all time list, I know I had LeBron at second and Mo had, I think you had him at third behind Kareem.
I did, because remember, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, it's not the NBA Hall of Fame.
correct.
But when you talk about careers, you're not just, it's not my fault LeBron didn't play college. He decided to go to the pros early. But when you look at Kareem's resume, he's got the greatest basketball resume in the history of basketball. 4 championships in high school, 3 championships in college. And the only reason he didn't win 4, they don't allow freshmen to play on UCLA. And he was player of the year all 3 years. And he was the most valuable player in the NCAA all 3 years. And then he comes into the pros, and people forget this because he didn't win a championship in year 1. But in year 1 as a rookie, he went to the conference finals. Year 2, he won the finals. He was the finals MVP. The man won 3 MVPs with 2 different franchises. He's a 6-time regular season MVP. And I know you could say, well, he only has 2 finals MVP. This is true. But the finals MVP that Magic is most famous for, the year he was a rookie, and Magic had the 42, 15, and 7. Magic wasn't the best player in that series. Kareem was. Magic, he had the best game of that series. He wasn't the best player. For
Kareem
the
didn't
series,
play that game, right? Kareem missed that game.
Yeah, he missed that game. He played in game 4. He played in game 5. He scores 41 and 15 in game 5 to win game 5 and gets hurt in game 5. Magic plays game 6. But my point is, for the series, Kareem's 33 points, 14 rebounds, 4 blocks, 4 assists. He was the best player in that series, but you get lost in the sauce because Magic was so amazing in game 6.
See, like I always find it interesting when people rate the greatest players of all time, right? Because like you have to have your own formula. So like I can tell, Mo, when I'm talking to you and listening to you, you have your own formula on how you rate players. So like I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. I see guys like Bill Russell ranked 3rd on people's lists. And I see Wilt Chamberlain ranked behind Bill Russell on a list. And I immediately disqualify the list. Because Wilt Chamberlain did every single thing on a basketball court. Every single thing on a basketball court better than Bill Russell. Except Bill Russell had 3 Hall of Famers that he played next to.
Just 3? Because I felt like he played with like 9.
I mean, he might have played with 9, but I think that the years that he beat Wilt, he had 3 Hall of Famers that played on the court with him, like started with him. And
no facts.
It's one of those things that like I don't know how to explain it to you, but it's the truth is there's no chance in the world that Bill Russell should be rated ahead of Wilt Chamberlain on any of your list. And as the Mavs turn up to 31 with a beautiful play outside to start second half.
So what Brett and I do usually is we do our list and we go after the merger, right? You know what I mean? So we separate, because look, I think that guys like Wilt get disrespected, but I think you bring up the valid point. Wilt was playing against Bill Russell, who is the greatest winner ever, but people talk about stacked teams. Bill Russell played on the stackedest team of all time. All time. And what's amazing is
from 1970 on.
Right.
That's fair.
Because
so from 1970 on, because you guys have already done this, let me give you mine. I could probably do this for you pretty quick. I'll go Mike, LeBron, Kareem. Now I'm going to lose Mo on this one. I know it. I'm not trying to. But Mike, LeBron, Kareem, Kobe, Bird, Magic, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal, Curry, Olajuwon.
So I like everybody in your top 10. Let's start there. Now,
okay.
I've had the conversation before. I would have Magic ranked higher than Bird, but I've also agreed with you that Bird's peak was better than Magic's peak. No argument. No, I don't know anybody's peak that was as good as Larry Bird's peak, but I'm on board. I'm on board. I get heat from Kobe fans because they think I don't like Kobe. I do like Kobe. I just don't have them ahead of those two guys. I don't have them ahead of Bird or Magic, but that's me. But I have him right behind them. I'm not disrespecting him. I think he's a great player.
My thing is this, right? I ask people all the time, and I convert it to football. Who, in your opinion, is the greatest running back of all time? So I guarantee you, based off what you just said, you're probably going to say Walter Payton.
I am going to say Walter Payton.
Okay, see, and that's the thing, right? My answer is Barry Sanders because I'm looking at the best that they've ever been. And you're looking at the longevity of the career, which is why I have Michael over LeBron. It's not necessarily always longevity to me. And I think at his peak, Bird was better than Magic. At his peak, Kobe was better than Bird. And at his peak, Jordan was better than LeBron. Now, the Duncan over Shaq argument, yeah, I'm 100% taking Tim Duncan over Shaq. I believe Tim Duncan has 5 NBA Finals championships.
He does.
He's the best player on 4 of them.
Agreed.
I believe that he was absolutely the most fundamental basketball player ever to touch a basketball. And he took a team where, let's just say it like it is, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are good players, but he made that team into a dynasty.
No, I look, we'll debate some things. I'm with you. I have a lot of debates about how, are you crazy? You saw what Shaq did those 3 years. You're a Laker fan. Like, I am a Laker fan, and I saw what Shaq did for those 3 years. But I look at what Tim Duncan did in the breadth of his career, and not just offense. Don't forget, Tim Duncan's one of the greatest defenders that ever played. Shaq wasn't a defender. He didn't play much defense. That's just a fact. I think Tim Duncan was a better basketball player than Shaquille O'Neal. Look, I think Hakeem Olajuwon is a better basketball player than Shaquille O'Neal. That's me.
Yeah,
I think Shaq is the definition of wasted potential. I think if you put Kobe's work ethic and drive inside Shaq, you'd have the greatest NBA player ever.
Oh, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. It's not even close. If he has Kobe's drive, it's not even a conversation.
100%.
Yeah, the one era I really stopped talking about with a lot of people was definitely like the 60s, because you tried talking with people and it's like, okay, you hate too much on Wilt, you hate too much on Bill. It's like nobody likes to figure out like these guys could play ball. Like, we can talk about Bill having a stacked team, the greatest team of all time. That was a 500 team without him statistically. And they won 70% of the games with him. They were a 500 team without him. Their defense was worse than league average without him. They get him. They post a bunch of the greatest defense of all time. 64, that team held teams under 9 points below league average. The year he retires, they're back to being a below average defensive team again. So, and same with Will, right? Like, oh yeah, Will overrated, put up stats against plumbers, even though guys like Bill Russell, Nate Thurmond, like, there was talent in the 60s. So to me, that's just, that era gets way too much hate. Like,
I think Wilt is so good that even on video games, they don't know how to rank him. Like, if you've played 2K or any of the, they don't know how to rank him. They literally don't know how to rank him. That's how you don't know what to do with that, because I think Wilt was better than Shaq and he was better athlete than Shaq. But how do you rank somebody like that? He's very unique. I look at Wilt's
He's the fastest player in the NBA.
Yeah,
he was the fastest player in the NBA. No one gets that. He was a track star. Wilt Chamberlain was a track star. He used to race people before the game for $100, and he never lose.
And that's crazy to have those legs and move that fast. Like I said, I just thought Wilt was a freak athlete, and he was underappreciated because back in the day, and I guess through history, you're going to go, well, Russell was a greater. I'm not arguing. I will not argue with anybody if they want to go Bill Russell is the greatest winner, and he is. He literally factually is the greatest winner in NBA history. But whenever we talk about the GOAT, it's not an accident that we don't talk about Bill Russell as the GOAT. We don't see him as the best player. We see him as a great player, but not as not the best player, not ever. And that's no hate on Bill Russell. I'm just simply saying it is what it is. And Brett, you bring up some great points. What I don't understand is the Celtics were winning all those championships, right? How is it that every year they're winning those championships, and then in the offseason, they're getting the best players out the draft? Like, how did that work? Like, they just kept replenishing, like they were loaded and loaded and loaded and loaded, and they were winning all the championships.
Listen, as we're talking, Minnesota's now lowered it to a 33-point lead, so we're right in the game.
Good God.
At this point, I guess, can Minnesota even bring it back to that 22.5-point spread?
At this point, aren't we starting to say, well, so is Drew Holiday going to match up on Kyrie, or is he going to spend more time on Luka?
That's exactly what we should be talking about, and it's the truth. And like, we can finish the greatest of all time debates and how we value players, and that's fine. But what I will say is this, that we're going to have a nice preview of the NBA Finals. We can do that. We can do that now.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll say.
I just want to finish like my value system, and everybody has theirs. My value system has always been at your absolute peak. Like, now you had to be at your peak for more than 1 year. It couldn't have been like a 1 year thing or a 2 year thing. But Bird's 5-year run was I mean, listen, I don't even mean to say it, like, this might sound wild, but Bird's 5-year run might be better than anyone's, other than Jordan's 6-year run with his 6 championships in 7 years. And by the way, I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to listen to anyone that tells me that Jordan didn't play that 7th year. Like, let's not forget he lost to Orlando. He came back. He played. Like, I don't care what the situation was. And I like Jordan, like LeBron. I think Jordan's the better player, but I'm also not going to have my red goggles on when I'm talking about it.
Fair. I'm the same way. I don't do he only played 17 games that season. Like, I don't care. He came back and he played. He was on the floor. They lost. I don't make excuses. Like, when they do this debate, I don't pretend like he didn't play on the Wizards. I count everything. The Wizards year, everything he did in his career counts, and that goes for every player. That's part of your resume. That's part of your experience. So I do think Gene makes a great point, Brett. We all have a different value system to a degree, but yet at the same time, if you look at Gene's top 10, what he just said, it's identical to yours and mine. The only difference is the order might be a little bit different, but we've got the same 10 guys in there. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, mine will normally be at your peak. How well did your dominance really affect the team, right? Like, if you're at your peak scoring 30 a game, but your team's 30 and 52, and you're Bradley Beal, I don't really care that much. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna get this game's gonna end in a fight. I can tell that right now. Karl Anthony Towns is starting to get physical and start pushing people because he's getting frustrated. This game's gonna end in a fight.
So Dallas needs to get Luka and Kyrie out of there if they're not already out of there.
They're both in the game, and they need to get them out of there. It's about to be a 40-point lead. Like, it's one of those things where, listen, if they get it down to 20, you can bring them back in the game. Let's get them out of the game. Let's let the dogs on the court, and then we can start breaking down the NBA Finals. Luka just hit a beautiful N1. It's going to put the game up to, what's that, 37 if he makes the free throw?
37-point game. Holy cow.
I guess, you feel validated when you call a game right or call a series right. I got this game so wrong. I will admit to everybody out there listening, I really thought the Timberwolves were going to show some fight and send this back for a game 6. I got this so wrong tonight.
So did I.
Yeah, I at least thought it would be close. Like, I figured even if Dallas won, this would be a good game, and Minnesota.
You know what they're doing right now? Dallas is doing to Minnesota what Minnesota was doing to Denver. They're just blowing the doors off of them.
Well, Dallas is doing to Minnesota what Dallas did to Phoenix a few years ago after that Devin Booker mouthpiece game.
Oh. when Luka was all in Booker's face, I love that moment.
I loved every part of it. And that to me, I think was the turning point in Devin Booker's career. I think that was the turning point negatively in his career.
I think it'll be interesting to see who they try to match up with Luka.
You can't. I don't think you can put
Gotta be
one
Jaylen
defender
Brown.
on him. Yeah, I think he's bigger than Holiday. He's a little bit more physical. I think you play Holiday on him at times, but I think Jaylen Brown is a better matchup. Maybe Tatum at times. I think you go off and on Drew Holiday and Derek White taking turns trying to slow down Kyrie.
100%. You're absolutely correct. And I would give Drew breathers, especially, but I would have Drew on Kyrie when Luka's off the court. So I would 100% make sure when Luka's off the court, I would have Drew on Kyrie. And then when Luka's on the court, I would give Drew some breathers by throwing Derek White on him and allowing Drew to play off and be able to get involved more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the key for the Celtics is not just that you have to slow down Luka and Kyrie. I think they have to attack them. Like whoever Luka and Kyrie's guarding, they have to be aggressive. They have to make those guys play defense.
Cat with the flex in the bucket, knocking the game down to 30.
He's so out of touch with reality. Like you're flexing, you're down 30 in an elimination game,
and you're flexing.
I mean, I've never seen someone so out of touch with reality. Kyrie hits a 3, make it 33, and hits a 3, make it 30 again. You're so out of touch with reality.
Man,
there's 6 minutes left. Like, I don't see it happening. I don't.
Just letting Kyrie come around screens, taking warm-up jumpers. Lucky that one didn't go.
Fact. Let's talk about Boston versus Dallas because that's going to be a great series, and we can spend the rest of our time kind of breaking that down and getting involved into that.
Yeah,
Porzingis start game 1?
June 6th.
I say, do you think Porzingis starts game 1?
I think he does. I think he does.
I think he'll be back.
I know he'll be back. What I'm asking is, do you think he starts game 1?
Oh, you know what? I don't think he starts game 1 because I don't think he has he'll be healthy, but I don't think he'll have his basketball legs, so I don't think he starts.
I'll say he'll definitely be motivated. A chance to stop Dallas from getting a ring. Oof.
I think he'll be motivated because he'll want to show up Luka, right? Like that experiment between he and Luka didn't go well. There's a lot of little side nuggets, like the history between Kyrie and the Celtics, right? That alone is box office.
It's box office by itself, and then you add the Porzingis thing in to Dallas and the little issues he had with Luka, and like it's no surprise him and Luka did not get along. They did not play well off each other. Kristaps, there's many videos if you watch the internet. It's not hard to find of Porzingis shrugging his shoulder at Luka, taking a fall away while he's wide open. It's very documented. It's not very hard to find. So we'll play matchups for a minute, right? We go Drew Holiday and Kyrie Irving. You're going to go Jaylen Brown, Luka Doncic. And then Derek White is going to have to go against Derek Jones Jr. in that situation.
And I think that works. I think that's in the Celtics' favor, at least that particular matchup. Because, again, look, Jaylen Brown's a really good defender. But, man, Luka is Luka. Like, he's going to get his shots. The real question is, can Jaylen Brown make Luka inefficient?
I think that you're still going to need to double Luka at times. I think you're going to be able to double off of, and especially when you have Horford on the court to play rim protection with Lively and Gafford, you can double Tatum off of him to kind of give him a different look and allow Horford to roam the lane because you're not worried about Gafford or Lively shooting. So I feel like that Boston has a much better team to be able to match up, particularly size-wise. With Luka and size-wise with a guy that can get into Kyrie's body like Drew Holiday. I think that Boston has those defensive matchups. But I'll be very clear with you. If the game is within one possession with 3 minutes left on the clock, it's edge to Dallas 1,000,000%.
Oh, I'm not arguing with that. I will say this though. I think Al Horford will play well, but I do think that the way that Luka plays, the way that they think, they're going to run Al Horford into every pick and roll action. Luka's going to get that matchup. The guy that they're going to hunt is going to be Al Horford. They're going to hunt Al Horford.
I can't wait till they start hunting for Porzingis because they will. And
Yeah,
you're going to see a lot of Luka Porzingis one-on-one basketball because they're going to run that screener and Luka and Porzingis are going to go at each other.
Yeah, I just hope Porzingis doesn't look like Rudy Gobert on skates against Luka.
I think Luka will end up putting Porzingis on skates too. It's just not a great matchup for somebody of his size, especially coming off of that foot Achilles injury.
They'll tell you that Porzingis is a good weak side defender. He is a good weak side defender, but he's not a good defender in general.
No.
He really isn't.
No one's accused him of being a good defender.
Yeah, he's not a good defender. So I do think you're right. Dallas is going to hunt him as well. I just think it's an interesting series because I agree with Gene. If these are going to be close games, if these are going to be one possession games or even two possession games, to me that's in Dallas's favors because I'm going to take Kyrie and Luka over Brown and Tatum in those situations, and that's not a knock. I just think that Kyrie and Luka are better in those situations.
If the game stays close late, it's advantage Dallas because Dallas has two guys that can absolutely get their shot when they want it.
Agreed. And I feel better about Dallas. Like there's an aspect about Tatum's game, and Gene, I thought you brought that up. There's something I don't like about his game. It's not that he's not talented. It's not that he didn't put up numbers, but late in games when he's in a one-on-one situation, it never feels like he's in attack mode. It feels like he'll settle for a tough step back fadeaway from. I don't understand that, and it drives me crazy.
You know what's funny? Earlier in his career, when he used to go against the Cavs, when LeBron was on the Cavs, Jason Tatum had that where he would go at LeBron. Do you remember the dunk? I mean, it was an absolute travel if you watched the play over and over. But do you remember the dunk that Jason Tatum had over LeBron?
Oh, yeah.
I love the people putting the angry face emojis saying "showed live." Bro, we're on Facebook and YouTube. We're not giving the live link out. We're doing a watch along. Angry emoji. Go live. Thanks, Barney Rubble.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
Yeah, well, at least Boston will definitely be a much better matchup defensively than Minnesota.
I didn't think it would be that way because Minnesota's defense has been great all year.
It has been, man.
Who do you think wins this series?
Let me ask you this: did this series go 6 or 7, or could it be a short series? Because I'm hoping, as a fan, we get a 7-game series.
I don't think this series has the ability to go 4 or 5.
I think Celtics Mavs, that's a 7-game series.
I hope so. We kind of breezed through the playoffs so fast. And this series is awkward. They're going to lose in 5 games, but there were 4 great games prior to tonight. I want everybody that's been following this series, 100%. There's been 4 great games that easily the Timberwolves could be up, and Kyrie and Luka were just better in clutch, high leverage situations. So I know in the end,
man, I keep looking at game 2. Game 2 was where the series got away from Minnesota.
I agree. That
game should have never lost that game. And when they switched out Rudy Gobert on Luka, the whole world knew that Luka was going to hit that 3-pointer. Cat's going to get in a fight. He is screaming at the officials. I'm shocked that he hasn't gotten technical foul yet.
He was still barking. He's
still screaming at him. Hey, at least he's showing fight. They're down 23 now.
It's a tough way to end your season. Nobody wants to lose, But to get blown off the floor on your home court in a closeout game, that's embarrassing. It just is.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate for the Wolves that by the time like Cat finally found his rhythm, it just really didn't matter. Like they had dug themselves in too deep of a hole.
Let me ask you this. If they're going to change the lineup, doesn't it really come down to a simple situation, a simple choice? You're either keeping Gobert or you're keeping Cat. You're not going to keep both, right?
100%. I agree with you. And honestly, you guys might hate this. I'd probably keep Gobert.
I think you keep.
No, I'd keep Gobert too. We're actually on the same page. I'd keep Gobert too.
Because I think Gobert is your traditional center rim protector.
Right.
I think Cat does not bring that rim protection to you. And I think Cat brings you back more value, if I'm being honest with you. I think you can trade Cat for a piece. Like, I'm not saying this is a realistic situation. I'm just doing a hypothetical for a minute. If for whatever reason Minnesota could trade Karl Anthony Towns and get a player to Minnesota, like, I don't know, man. Like that doesn't make sense because they have Bam, but I'm just saying, like, you bring a Jimmy Butler in, or you bring a Pascal Siakam in, a wing that's athletic that can defend for Karl Anthony Towns, your team's better.
It almost seems like it's the issue with this Timberwolves team. It's either got really like tall bigs or really small guards, or they just don't have wings to guard somebody like Luka.
In a league full of wings, this is literally a team that has no wings.
So let me ask you this.
Call Houston up. We got 17 of them. Sorry.
Right, no, you're fine. I was going to say you're a Sixer fan. I know that they say that the Sixers are somewhat interested in Paul George. Would Paul George be a good fit with the Timberwolves?
100% would. He's a 3-and-D guy. He can defend great. He'll be able to shoot the basketball. He's athletic enough to defend the 2 through 4 positions on the basketball court. Yes, and he doesn't need to be the alpha because Anthony Edwards is going to continue building into be the alpha. Could you imagine a big three of, like, they have a sign-in trade where you bring Karl Anthony Towns to the LA Clippers and Paul George over to Minnesota? That would be so ideal for Minnesota. Minnesota would love that. They would do that before the ink was dry. They'd have
right.
Seriously.
No, I agree. And at the end of the day, with Karl Anthony Towns, he's been great these past 2 games, and he's had his moments. But at the end of the day, he frustrates me so much because he still makes so many bad fouls and just bad shots. He makes so many dumb choices where we're past saying that, oh, Karl Anthony Towns, he's just got to develop. He's in year 10. He's not. This is just who he is.
He's incredibly talented, guys, but he got a low basketball IQ.
I'd love to hear the reason why. Mason Marie said trading Towns for PG is terrible. Please project your reason. Yeah. Why is it terrible for who? The Clippers are willing to lose PG for nothing because they're not going to pay him more than Kawhi.
They're not.
Towns is the issue, in my opinion, of the 2 centers that Minnesota has. So why does that not work?
And let's be honest, the Paul George Kawhi Leonard partnership hasn't worked out that great. I mean, I like Paul George, but I don't know. I've never seen him as one of those guys that got a whole lot of dog in him either. Like, if you're a big Paul George fan, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like Paul George peaked in terms of being a guy or being that dude when he was in Indiana. He hasn't been a guy where you thought he's the guy since he left Indiana. He wasn't even the guy in Oklahoma City. Russ put him in a position to where he had an MVP caliber season, but I don't think Paul George has ever been that guy since he left Indiana. He's put up good numbers, and he's a good player. Him going to Minnesota, to me, makes total sense because he's not an alpha from the get, but he would be an excellent, and I mean excellent, number 2 to Ant. And I think Paul George is the kind of personality he can fit in almost any situation. Like, we're talking about Minnesota. But do I think that Paul George would fit well with Embiid and Maxey? Absolutely. He'd be the number 3, and he would fit perfectly with them.
You're absolutely correct. And I'll tell you right now, I think Kawhi, and this might be something that gets looked at negatively. I think Kawhi is negative value. And what I mean by that is I think any team that has Kawhi Leonard on it, you can just write them off. They won't win a championship. It will never happen again. He won't be healthy enough for a playoff run. And
We're
when
on
the
the same
playoff,
page.
it's just he won't. And if you're paying him max money, you're losing a max player come playoff time. That experiment, what was it, 2019, when the Raptors won the NBA Finals, and the next year Kawhi Leonard signed with the Clippers, and the closest they ever got was being up 3-1 on the Nuggets in the Western Conference semifinals.
Yep.
That's and they have arguably a top 3 coach in the league, top 4 coach in the league in Ty Lue.
I'm a Kawhi fan, but I'm with you. I think that when you look at Kawhi, I don't care where he plays. If you bring him there to be the guy or even be the other guy, he's not going to be there come playoff time. He's not. He played more games this last season than he had played the previous 2 seasons, and it didn't matter because when they needed him most, he gets hurt right before the playoffs, and then you don't have him anymore. And I think going forward for the rest of his career, he's going to be a great player, but that value that you pay for him to take you to another level in the playoffs or what, I think that's gone because he's never there for the playoffs.
You're absolutely correct.
So you saw that injury kind of building throughout the second half too, because you're watching him and you can just like watch him just like slow down even more and more and more. And by the time April rolled down, like he's playing, but it's just like, is this even Kawhi Leonard anymore? And then obviously he was ruled out shortly after with the knee stuff. But
yeah, he was terrible in game 2. You could tell he was not himself.
If you set aside what he makes per year, the money, and just talk about him as a player, I think going forward to get the most out of a Kawhi Leonard, you probably need him to be your third option. You probably need him to play about 28, 30 minutes a game. The problem with that is the money is a factor because you're paying him as an elite player. And I just don't see going forward how it gets better for him. No. Even a guy like Jimmy Butler, who I'm a huge Jimmy Butler fan, but Father Time gets it wins more times than not. Like LeBron is an outlier. You're looking at Jimmy Butler, he's getting older, his body's starting to break down more. I think Jimmy Butler has great value, but how much money would you invest in a Jimmy Butler going into the year 34 or 35 season? That would be the question. Is it a 3-year deal? Because I don't see nobody giving him a 5-year deal.
And I know the reports were Philly was willing to offer him like a 2-year max.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Philly said they'll max him out. They'll max him out for 4 years. They did.
I think that Philly's thinking, you know what?
We'll go all in for 2 and we'll worry about the salaries later.
Thank you. Philly's saying if we get 1 championship out of Jimmy Butler, we'll take the hit. And if that worked out that way, I'm in total agreement with them. I have no problem with that.
That's exactly what they're thinking. Because if you replace Jimmy Butler with Tobias Harris with Jimmy Butler with that 76ers team this year, I think they're in the NBA Finals. Obviously, with Jimmy Butler healthy, he was hurt in the playoffs. But if you replace Tobias Harris with a healthy Jimmy Butler, I think the 76ers are representing the East this year, not Boston.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the most full, like, ironic thing, isn't it, right? Like, Tobias Harris over me, and now 4 or 5 years later, here we are letting Tobias walk to try to get Jimmy Butler on a max.
But Brett, Jimmy should have never said that because that's not what it ever was. It was never Tobias Harris over me.
Ben Simmons.
I hate that he said that. I hate that, like, he made that narrative a thing. That's never what the narrative was. Anybody close to that situation knows it was Ben Simmons over him. They chose to stay with Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler. It was not a problem of Tobias or Jimmy. It was an issue of who was going to run the offense and bring the ball up. And if you remember watching the last series that Jimmy Butler ever played for the 76ers, and that's the Toronto Raptors series, they delegated Ben Simmons to the dunker spot and said, you go stand in the corner, Jimmy's going to run the offense. And Jimmy looked at Coach Brett Brown and said, hey, man, we've done this one way all year, and we're just switching in round 2 of the NBA playoffs. We're just changing the way we're running our offense in round 2 of the NBA playoffs. And that was the decision they made in the offseason. Now, Jimmy walked into a conversation in which they asked Brett Brown if he thinks he can control Jimmy Butler. And he goes, well, you won't have to worry about that. I won't resign. And they asked, because they were making a decision of Ben Simmons or Jimmy Butler. And they asked Brett Brown if he thought he could control Jimmy Butler. And Elton Brand did that, and that's an Elton Brand mistake.
Yeah, that was the JJ Redick podcast, right?
Yeah.
That was a really good one. Yeah, I remember that.
Old Man to Three. So it's a great podcast.
No, that just seemed like a weird decision from the get. Like, I'm not sure what they really saw. Like, you could see the potential in, I guess, Ben Simmons, but at the same time, you watch him, you kind of could tell early that never really looked like he was going to reach it because he just kind of never, like, watching him develop from rookie year to year and year, he just was the same player.
He literally stayed the same player the whole time he was in Philly. Like,
if I was watching that, I'm just kind of like, is this guy really going to ever hit that, LeBron James, Magic Johnson comparison that we were getting in the draft?
But see, the thing that a lot of people in Philadelphia don't understand, and the thing that drives a lot of people nuts in the city of Philadelphia is this. Mo, I talk to you about basketball a ton. And how much NBA general manager experience do you have?
0.
If you would have took over that team the moment they ousted Sam Hinkie with 0 GM experience, it would be physically impossible for you to do more damage than Brian Colangelo and Elton Brand did. It would be impossible. If you look at what Sam Hinkie left that team with, they went Jahlil Okafor over Porzingis. Okay, fine. Everyone wanted Jahlil Okafor over Porzingis. He was rated ahead of him. They wanted D'Angelo Russell. Fine. They went they traded a first-round pick that ended up being Jaylen Brown for Markelle Fultz over Jason Tatum. And then they gave up a first-round pick that ended up being 3rd overall that Boston ended up selecting Jaylen Brown with. Then when they traded a ton of assets to get Jimmy Butler and then a ton more assets to get Tobias Harris. They gave 2 first-round picks, Landry Shamet and somebody else for Tobias Harris. Jimmy Butler walked in the offseason after you traded Dario Saric, Rocco, and a couple second-rounders for Jimmy. He walked for nothing. They maxed Toby, and then they panicked when they lost Butler and went out and gave Al Horford 4 years, $120 million.
I remember that. When they did the Horford contract, I was like, that's a panic move. That's in panic mode.
They signed, and bro, everybody in Philadelphia knows exactly what they did. They signed Al Horford because they were tired of Al Horford abusing Joel Embiid in the playoffs. That's why they signed him. Oh, we would take away their best defender.
It's really what it felt like the whole logic behind the move was, for sure, because I can't really see why else you'd get Horford for that team. He's not a power forward.
Oh man,
not at this stage, right? And so
Their
you wasted money.
Their starting lineup that year. Now I want you to think about floor spacing for a minute, right? Their starting lineup that year was Ben Simmons at the 1. Markelle Fultz at the 2, couldn't shoot. Tobias Harris at the 3, Al Horford at the 4, and Joel Embiid at the 5. I want you to think about that for a minute. And how the hell did you space the floor with that team?
The interesting part is your best shooter was actually your center.
Yeah.
Embiid is the best guy. He has the best touch on the floor. Fultz can't shoot. Simmons can't shoot. Hell, Harris refuses to shoot most of the time. Yeah, that was crazy. Look, all I know is when I watched the Sixers that particular year where they lost to Toronto, throughout that season, Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid had this natural chemistry, and I just knew they're keeping that together. They're going to keep that together because you saw it on the floor, and they found a way to mess that up.
Yeah. Guys, we gotta slow down real quick. Minnesota has now lowered this game to 21 with 9 minutes left. Do we have a comeback in us?
Oh,
let's see.
That was a hell of a block by Ant, by the way.
It'll be a great comeback.
Oh, there we go. Back to 25, 23. Oh, man. I just don't think it's possible for you guys to do a worse job playing GM for the 76ers than what Colangelo and Brand did. I don't think it's physically possible.
Yeah,
Man,
that's fair.
they
That
missed
really,
on so many picks, though. Jesus Christ.
the issue too with trying to play Al Horford with those guys is one of Al's big values is he's such a great playmaker out of the center position. So taking the playmaking away from Al Horford really nukes a lot of Al Horford's value.
It was so bad watching that
Who
basketball.
was the other shot blocker that you guys drafted? I can't remember his
Nerlens
name.
Noel.
Yes, Nerlens. No, this is not Mo killing Nerlens Noel. Suddenly, he's not an NBA player, but they should not have. He wasn't valued that high. They missed. They talk about the process, but you missed on Okafor. You missed with Noel. I mean, the Fultz thing. I didn't get that to be. Look, when they said they were interested in him, I immediately started watching film on him, and I watched the YouTube highlights, the whole nine, and I came away unimpressed. I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And they drafted this guy, and he had a jump shot like a slingshot. That was in the highlights. He had a jump shot like a slingshot.
There's going to be a 30 for 30 on Markelle Fultz because his jump shot at Washington was not his jump shot that he started the NBA with. He got in a motorcycle accident that everyone hid, and he hurt his shoulder. And I don't care what anybody tells you. I'm telling you, from someone's perspective that lived through it, you're going to see a 30 for 30 on Markelle, the process it's going to be called. And it's going to be the mentally weak process of Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz. It's going to come out. I'm telling you.
I'll watch it. I'm going to be there for it.
Yeah. You'll have Sam Hinkie, Colangelo, Ben Simmons. You guys remember they drafted Michael Carter-Williams? He won Rookie of the Year.
Right. He won Rookie of the Year. Right.
Let's say Michael Carter-Williams had like the greatest rookie game we've ever seen and then just kind of fell off after that. But dude almost had like a quadruple double against the Heatles and then
MCW.
Oh, wait a minute. Y'all also had Brett, you'll appreciate this. What's the guy that likes to tell all the NBA stories? The one that has like
Evan Turner.
Yes, Evan Turner. There's
another one, guy. Number 2 overall pick.
Right, that guy. My God.
Evan Turner was like 2007. It's not the same.
I'm still trying to figure out.
He was not that good. He was not that good.
Yeah.
Apparently not according to Portland, who paid him $70 million out of nowhere.
They did. They thought this guy was going to take off, and I was like, that's why GMs get fired. Stuff like that.
I remember the
Portland's got the worst GM in all basketball.
Who?
Like the last 15 years, last 20 years of GMing in Portland's got to be the worst. Like if you look up their signings, who's the one kid that the flavor of the week? They gave him like a huge contract. I gotta look it up. Portland gave this kid a huge contract because he had one half of a season.
They gave Jeremy Grant a huge contract too. Why? Why?
I get it for you.
They knew they were getting rid of Dame and still said, "Here you go. Here's like a max for Jeremy Grant."
Right. Let's bring in Jeremy Grant. He's basically like Dame. Like, okay.
I don't know. Like the Hornets might be able to give the Blazers a run for their money.
That's the worst run franchise I think in the NBA still.
This is so recent too. They gave this kid a ridiculous contract for Portland, and he had like a half a good season.
Was it my first trying to think of guys who recently got contract? I know Anthony Simons just got a big one for him.
Yeah, it was around that time, I think. But like they gave Jeremy Grant a huge contract when he shouldn't have got one. But this is somebody else. And as soon as I say his name, you're gonna be like, oh snap! You're gonna understand exactly what I mean.
Didn't they give Ayton his money too?
No, that was the Pacers tried to max him.
Right. The Pacers wanted Ayton. That's one of those trades where it didn't go through, and it was better for the Pacers. Good job. Not happening. Good job.
And apparently they were willing to do a sign and trade too with like Miles Turner at the time, and the Suns were like, nah, we want Ayton.
Miles Turner he's a conundrum because you can see he's a good player, but you can also see he's not a great player. I think he's a complimentary player because I got a lot of people saying, well, next year the Pacers are going to be back and be better. And I'm like, I don't think they're going to be better. I think this year was their year. Like, they're a young team, but if you look at their roster top to bottom, they're not really loaded. Like, Siakam's a good player. Huh?
Evan Turner got 4 years, $70 million from the Blazers.
Evan Turner.
Is that the
What he average? 10 points a game? 9 points a game?
That's not who I'm looking at, though. I'm looking for somebody else.
Hey, his YouTube highlight reel though, Mo, elite.
I love, you know what? I love it that guys can like put together a highlight. Like you if you play long enough, even Evan Turner has a highlight reel.
Dude, like I remember back in the day when it was like an honor and you had to be like an absolute legend to get a highlight reel.
Right.
And now just like I can go on YouTube and I watch a lot of weird NBA players, and I went on YouTube recommended the Mario Hinoja highlight reel. I was like, I'm not watching that. I'm okay. Thank you, though.
You're right. Everybody's got a highlight reel, which is cool. Like I said, I'm not hating on it. Good for you. And yeah, Evan Turner. Alan Crabb. He was supposed to be a big 3-and-D guy.
Yeah. Career best career year was 13 points per game. Alan Crabb.
Wow.
No, I remember that now because I actually who was another one? Because I think Tyler Johnson was, I think, another one that they had a really bad contract with.
Is that the same Tyler Johnson that was at Miami?
Yeah. They signed him to 3 years and $51 million. But the thing is, Brooklyn signed him to that contract and added a 15% trade kicker, and the Blazers, for some reason, matched the thing.
Teams are just handing out money. I remember that year that the Lakers signed Timothy Mozgov to a $75 million contract. Why would you do that?
He started for the first 20 games, and then they banished him.
The big four of contract signings, that like the Mount Rushmore of contract signings that year. Deng, Mozgov, Jakeem Noah, and Chandler Parsons.
That's bad because we had two of those.
Here's the 2020 Blazers roster, and I want you to point out every time you hear a bad contract. Zach Collins, Robert Covington, Harry Giles. Remember that he was going to be a stud from Duke. Rondé Hollis Jefferson, Derek Jones, Enes Kanter, Damian Lillard, Nasir Little, Yusuf Nurkic, Norman the Floorman, and Anthony Simons.
If I listen to Enes Kanter talk about himself, he makes himself sound like the GOAT.
Is that Enes Kanter? Who was the one that? Oh no, that was Steven Adams. Steven Adams has the greatest soundbite of all time, making fun of LeBron James when they were talking about the bubble and they were asking him how tough life was in the bubble. And he goes, we're living at a bloody resort, man. It's not Syria. We're fine.
Right.
I always thought LeBron was a little over dramatic about that. Like,
I get how hard it was living in the bubble. He goes, we're living in a bloody resort, man. It's fine.
He's talking about how he'll never play for the Magic because of the bubble, and it's just like, dude, you lived in a nice resort. Like,
oh my God. Did you guys just see that three that Luka hit off the bank? Yeah. There's nothing Cat did wrong on that play. Luka just hit a bang three from 75 feet in the air. And they're still doubling in up 26 with 6 minutes left.
I think the scary part going forward against Boston, Luka's swagger, when he gets into you, that's going to be interesting because I think he's got that kind of swagger where he can break certain guys' spirits.
You remember when all these idiots, I shouldn't say idiots. I don't want to say idiots. Not what I want to say. You remember when all these guys at the beginning of the season were talking about how bad of a contract Drew Holiday was?
I remember that.
And for Boston, should never signed him. And he didn't have the greatest start. And I remember saying this. I said, wait, playoff time when you have a guy that has championship pedigree on your roster, a guy that has been there and has been in that moment. And you tell me that contract looks bad now. You tell me if that trade looks bad now. Would you rather have Malcolm Brogdon right now, or would you have Drew Holiday?
Yeah, I never got that because I love that trade when they made it. Like, that's a no-brainer. Malcolm Brogdon is not – he's not as good as everybody makes him out to be. Like, he's definitely not on Drew Holiday's level.
Oh,
Look
man.
They showing Snoop shaking his head and I know what he's saying. He said Luka is bad. That's a bad man. You're right, Snoop. You're right. That's a bad man.
At this point, can we get Snoop out there for a Snoop Dogg concert for the last 4 minutes?
I wonder if Anthony Edwards is still going to give Micah Parsons those sneakers.
Oh, that's right, because he's not going to be back for Game 6. You're right. I guess he can send them through Amazon. Something.
That was a weird question that a reporter asked him when they asked him, why? Well, why did you say it? He's like, well, we're playing Game 5. Did you want me to say we're going to lose? That reminded me of some of the dumb interview questions they asked when they asked Chris Paul, will the Clippers be back here for Game 7? And he goes, I play on the team. What do you think I'm going to say?
Right. I will be interested to see what they say in the post game because I know Towns and Ant have been together, joking around kind of a little bit from time to time. I don't think Ant's going to be jokey in the post game. I think Ant's a good teammate. He's not going to point fingers at anybody, but without saying anything, I think that says a ton. He knows they need to change some things with that core. And I'm with you guys. I'm keeping Gobert because he has value on both ends of the floor, even as a rim runner. Even though he doesn't elevate that high, he's still a good rim runner. Towns gives you the most value and the most get back, and I think we're all in agreement. If you can move Towns, you're moving him for a wing.
100%. I don't know how. I can't see the logic in how you wouldn't.
Let's say wings that could be available. Brandon Ingram. I don't think I'd want to bring Brandon Ingram in.
You know what? I don't trust BI.
I think Minnesota would still be better with Brandon Ingram instead of Karl-Anthony Towns.
Oh, I won't argue with that, but man, there's something, the way you say there's something about Tatum's game you don't like. Yeah. There's something about BI's game I don't like. I feel like BI's got some quit in him.
Go back and look at that draft, that Simmons, Brandon Ingram draft. Who should we take 1? Who should we take 2? Ben Simmons, Brandon Ingram.
I'll admit, though, watching Ben Simmons, his first, I want to say 3 seasons, if you told me a guy was coming in with his height, athleticism.
Did Luka just get hurt in a game in a play that
he shouldn't? No. Wow. Towns laid him out.
Back in his face.
Wow.
Yep. To get him off the court, you're up 20 with 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
What Jason Kidd? I'll tell you right now, if Luka gets hurt in this game, Jason Kidd will not be able to go back to Dallas.
He will not. I'm with you.
That is so bad. Get him off the freaking court.
This was actually a pretty good draft. This the 2016 one. Ingram, Brown, Murray, Sabonis.
Yeah, we got really good after the first 2 picks.
If you told me Ben Simmons was going to go 16, 8, and 8, even if you told me, well, Mo, there's not going to be any real growth, he's going to be a 16, 8, and 8 guy for the entirety of his career, I wouldn't have said that's a bad deal. If you can give me 16, 8, and 8, and you're going to be an all NBA defender at 16, 8, and 8, I would take that.
The problem is when it came to the playoffs, Mo, they literally wouldn't stick him.
No, I understand that, but I think that everything literally came apart, though, more so than I've ever seen in that Atlanta series. It wasn't that they didn't just stick him. He was playing not to shoot. He would drive the lane and kick the ball out.
It was a mental midget.
I think
And I'm looking at him now. Like, what is Ben Simmons going to be now going forward if he's in the league? A guy coming off your bench, a role player now. Like, I don't even know if I would sign him as a role player because I'd be like, this guy's going to get hurt again, or he's going to quit, or whatever. I just think I've never seen somebody fall so fast.
I wouldn't touch him even as a role player. Like, he quit on Australia, quit on LSU, and he just quits every destination he goes to. And every year it's the same story. Like, he's going to be back better than ever. Cool. I've heard that 5 years in a row now. When's he going to be back better than ever?
It's summertime when you see the Ben Simmons workout highlight film.
Shooting jump shots.
It's summer when he's cashing threes in the
open gym threes. I went to a 76ers game and I watched him before the game and I counted just for fun. And he shot 38 for 76 on open 75 on open 3-pointers in pregame. Like unguarded 3-pointers. And I want you to understand how bad that is for an NBA player. You like that might sound bad, like in a game that would be fine. If he like in a span of like 3, 4, 5 weeks, if he shot 38 for 76, that'd be great. In an open gym, like without anyone in your face, you should be hitting 60 for 75.
I always love the summer videos because you see everybody working on stuff that they're never going to do in a game. Like I'm watching Rudy Gobert start shooting pull-up threes in summer videos. Like, I don't see you catch and shoot threes. Why are you working on pulling up?
Remember that offseason, Dwight Howard said, I'm going to work on my threes to extend his range. And this is like Dwight Howard in like year 12 or 13. I'm like, dude, that ship has sailed. Nobody's going to sign you and have you shoot threes.
Dude, he got clocked, man.
Yeah, he's got to come out and stay out.
Pull the man up. Is there like free throws?
Did his tooth come out?
Dang.
No, they're just straight up having him play.
What are they doing? Is that Kyrie bringing the ball up? If I'm Minnesota, I just start a fight. Like, it sounds stupid, but like, I would just be like, why are you still in it? You're up 21 with 4 minutes left. Send in the clowns.
Right. This is Tim Hardaway Jr. time.
Yeah, say, oh, wow, there we go. I love watching Kyle Anderson. You can play so far off.
Like that old head. He's like that old head in the LA Fitness gym that everybody leaves open in the game of 21 and ball eventually rolls to him and he takes forever to shoot it. I just hard foul. I'm just hard fouling. If I'm Minnesota right now, I almost feel like you're just trying to show me up. I'm hard fouling.
I'm going to be interested to see what Charles Barkley says in the post game.
Here goes slow-mo again. Oh my God.
Dude, just call a timeout. Get these guys. We don't need like a Derrick Rose situation happening right now. Just I want everybody healthy to go into this finals.
100%. Yeah, I'm taking out all my starters. Actually, I'm not even messing around.
There we go. The emphatic dunk. Timeout. This is probably it. This is probably when they.
Did he just give the double bird to? I need to see the end of that play. Did he just give the double bird? Let me see the end of this dunk.
You're talking about Luka, right?
No, Lively. Hold on. Watch the end of this. What did he do right here?
I'm gonna see.
I thought he threw his hand. See his hands are going up. When I seen that live, I thought he gave the double bird.
Oh, that would have been crazy.
Team's over, bro. It's terrible. Well, I will say this though. Tomorrow night, I know I'm not sure how many of you guys are UFC fans, but there's going to be a really good Road to Gold episode tomorrow night for UFC 302. That's happening Saturday night.
Oh, okay. What
time does that show air?
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Over on Wire Network.
All I know is every time I check in, those two guys they're not just talking about what's going on in present day MMA. They can go back in the past. They know everything. If you're an MMA fan, these two guys are encyclopedias of MMA knowledge. That's your bag. You want to watch Road to Gold. These guys are they're masters of their crafts. Trust me on that.
Bro, it's so much fun, like having this network with all the intelligent guys that we have across the board. Whether it's Black Elmore talking about baseball with Hackney, whether it's Mo and Brett talking basketball on N1, like that is listening to you guys talk basketball on a normal N1 show. And guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have an early Friday morning conference call, so I don't normally catch the end of your show. I catch it when I'm driving into work. But man, it is so fun, so much fun to listen to. So I appreciate you guys. We got the morning show every day, pumping out great content. It's a lot of fun right now. So, and we're growing. We are growing, man. We had a million view week. Do you realize how ridiculous that is? 1 million views in 1 week for Wire Network.
We got a good crew, man. We got a good crew.
Yeah.
I like the crew that we got.
That's the first time I've ever been a part. And listen, to some of you guys, that might not sound like it's the biggest thing in the world, but to me, 1 million views in a week, and we're over 1 million for the last 8 days, 7.5 days. Thursday morning was when the TikTok was posted that went 880. We've had a reel go over 180 this week, a live go over 12,000. So
that's crazy.
It's been great, man. Really fun.
Yeah, Alex, I'm looking forward to next week. I'm gonna, double check and make sure. But like I said, we might end up having our second another guest next week for and one. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
What NBA finals starting June 6th, right? A week from
today.
Right.
What
a week from tomorrow.
I think so. Yeah, it'll be 5 days.
It says it's Thursday. So I don't know if you guys plan on doing a show or a game one watch along, but I'm always down for watch alongs if I'm free, because this shit is great, man.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's do a watch one. Hey, Brett, your salute to Bill Walton. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate that. That was awesome.
Throw it down, big man. I appreciate everybody still hanging with us. I definitely recognize you. We got over 150 listening right now live on Twitter, 290 listening on Facebook. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I think we can. I think it's pretty safe to assume that this one might be over. Yep.
Wow, you think so?
Oh, they got Ricochet back in the game.
Before we wrap up and we end the live, before we end everything out, let's give an NBA Finals projection. How many games? Who wins? Who's your Finals MVP? And if you want, because I just throw it out there, I'll go first if you like.
No, I'll go first. I'm good. I'm going to say, I'll put it this way. If it ends in 6 games, I'm going to say it's going to be the Celtics. If it's a 7-game series, I think the Mavericks win it. But off the top of my head, I'm going to be consistent. I thought when Drew Holiday went to the Celtics, when they added Porzingis all along, they were coming out the East. They were going to be the best team. That sounds like I'm not a writer. I'm just being consistent. They were the best team all year long. I have to assume somehow, some way, the Boston Celtics are going to be your NBA champions.
Good. Who's your Finals MVP?
I'm going to go Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
I'll go Mavericks in 7, and I think the Finals MVP for Dallas, if they do win, it's going to end up being Luka. But I think the best part about Game 7 is going to be a game on the line, watching maybe possibly Kyrie hit that big shot again.
So before the season started, it's my last future bet. I'd stopped gambling, if you guys don't know. I put a $500 wager on the Boston Celtics to win the NBA Finals at almost 4-1. I predicted the Celtics to win before the season started. as much as I would love to see the Dallas Mavericks beat them because I hate Boston, I'm going to stick with my projection. I'm going to go Celtics in 7, and I'm going to give the finals MVP to Jaylen Brown.
I like it. And look, just for the record, I'm a diehard Laker fan. I'm not rooting for the Celtics. I just believe the Celtics are going to win the finals.
Are you sure you're not rooting for them? That's not what they're saying at home.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they think. But no, I'm not rooting for the Celtics. If I had my way, Luka would win his first, Kyrie would win his second, and he would kind of validate everything that's happened between the time he left Cleveland and where he is now. So I would love to see Kyrie Irving hoist up another Larry O'Brien trophy, but it's going to be tough. It's not impossible because these two guys are monsters, but I think the Celtics are the better team. We'll see.
Yeah, either way, I'm happy with the result. If Luka wins his or if Boston wins, because I really want Al Horford to win one before he retires. So at this point, whoever wins, I'm happy about it.
Yuck. I want Al Horford to win one. Yuck. On that note, guys, I'm signing out. You guys can close your own show out. That is disgusting that you just said
You
that.
just ran Gene off.
No, thank you guys for having me on tonight. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you having you.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what the numbers are post-show. We were over 500 live for a good portion of the show. So it'll be interesting to see what they look like when it's all said and done.
Yeah, absolutely. Mo, is there anything you want to add?
No, look, I'll just say this real quick. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you checking out And One with Gene, the NFL genius, my partner, Brett. Make sure you check out all the great content that we have at the Wire to Wire Network. Wire to Wire Network, we appreciate you.
And make sure you catch all of our of the other content at Wire to Wire Network tomorrow, right away in the morning. You can see this handsome fellow on the bottom in the morning show, 8 a.m. Central. So everybody, enjoy the rest of your day and have a good night.
Thank you for tuning in to the And One podcast. If you like our content, you can find more on the Wire to Wire Podcast Network on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify. Want more And One? Find it on Wire to Wire. Like and share our Facebook page and join the And One Discord. Grab the link to join from our Facebook. Thank you for tuning in and have a wonderful day.